In a world where truth means nothing.
They're eating the dogs.
In a world where Joe Rogan and John Oliver are hailed as intellectual icons. In a world where Hollywood makes the same shitty movies over and over and over again. From that world comes a team.
Wait, are you talking about me?
In the lineage of iconic teams like The Rock and Mankind.
Okay, well, that's not a terrible team to be part of, I guess.
Like Lennon and McCartney.
Okay, that's probably slightly even better. I could get behind that.
Like Sherlock and Watson, or Batman and Robin.
Okay, but one of those people in that dyad is really bad at what they do.
Like Steven Tyler of Aerosmith and the guitar guy from Aerosmith.
Hey, wait a second. Don't want to be the guitar guy.
Like Michael Jordan and, whoever else was on the Bulls.
I'm Pippen. I'm Scottie fucking Pippen.
Comes a partnership to save you from the shitty entertainment you are forced to consume like so many Slim Jims. It's Connect the Coast Radio and a guy with an LED background, a microphone, and too much free time on his hand wearing emo band shirts like it's the 2005 Warped Tour.
Hey, wait a minute. That's me you're talking about.
This winter, if you watch one podcast, make sure to watch Connect the Conversations.
That's not the name of the podcast, you asshole.
Fine. It's Honest Conversations with Mr. Carter, now syndicated on the Connect the Coast network.
Thanks. See, is it that much to ask for you to be professional for like 10 seconds?
Coming soon.
You motherfucker. Perfect. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. How are we all doing today? We are actually troubleshooting some issues over here all the way up to the last minute. I am super excited for today's podcast. Before we get started, though, I kind of wanted to give a shout out to a bunch of people. The response to the last episode was a little overwhelming. When I first did my first podcast, I don't think anybody listened to my first episode. And I got a bunch of shout outs, and there's some people that I really want to thank. Specifically, Ventura Tide Pod was instrumental in just like calling it out and letting people know where it was. And then Rare Breed 805 was really, really nice and, shouted me out in a podcast that he did. And I was like, dang, I didn't think I made that kind of impression. So, with all that said, we have a very cool guest today. We have Mina Azul with us. Mina is a podcaster herself and also a model. And I'm going to go ahead and add her now after we were done troubleshooting all of the issues we were having with audio. Mina, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather down there?
It is hot. It's definitely, I don't know, I'm on the east end of Ventura, so it's hotter than the west end, but I'm making it. At least I got a fan.
When you say hot, what do you mean by hot? Because like most people don't understand that like California is not all really one state, right? And so when it's hot in LA, it's one thing. If it's hot in the Bay, it's another. And if it's hot in Ventura, it's a completely different. So what's the actual like number?
Today I would say like it feels like solid. I would say it feels like a solid 80 because it's super sunny outside, and the humidity I think is what makes it worse.
Interesting. All right. Hang on a second here, because I'm getting weirdness through YouTube. I'm not even sure if we're on the air right now.
Sweet.
Yeah. Good times. You guys aren't getting it live.
Why are we like this? What is wrong with us?
Listen, I don't want to say I'm cursed, but I'm probably cursed. All right.
Podcast though, I don't know what I would do with myself. There always has to be something going on.
Yeah, and it's weird because like I didn't like create It's so weird. It's showing us live too as the studio. Okay. Let's see what's going on YouTube then.
Look, I'll show you my dog while you do that. It's not actually.
Oh, that's a good dog. Well, the good news is that it's recording, so if necessary, what I'll just do is upload it later. So with that,
Podcasting sounds easy to people, but it's not, because you're your own tech, you're your own like electrician. Sometimes you're your own everything.
Sanctus and I have had a whole conversation and a half about just how annoyed he gets. Like, he was doing OBS, and that's like its own very technical thing. So he went to StreamYard, and that was supposed to be less technical, and it just keeps crashing on him. And like every time it crashes, I can just hear his brain break a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that I've been sort of the theme of this season is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And the Dunning-Kruger effect is the psychological principle that by having a little bit of knowledge, you are actually more likely to be biased or have an incorrect view of how something works that has great complications to it. So the story about how this got discovered, there was a man who found out that using lemon juice created invisible ink on a piece of paper. He then covered his face in lemon juice and attempted to rob a bank. When he was caught, he asked the police, "How could you see me? I was covered in lemon juice." And these two psychologists were like, how could anyone be that stupid? And two, how is it possible that this happened? And so I think the question I have for you is, what is a common Dunning-Kruger effect people have about modeling?
That you just stand there and it's easy and that's it. Someone just takes a picture, and it's really not. There are times when I was like sweating from holding a pose, or it's just an uncomfortable place to be, but you make it happen. And honestly, not everybody is photogenic. They're just not.
How did you get into modeling? How does one start into modeling?
So for me, it all started. I'm from the Antelope Valley, and pinup was a big thing out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some pinup things. I did like pinup, like a competition or two. I had photographer friends also who would just put me in front of the camera, or they would say we would do the thing where we'd go out at night and just go randomly like drive out before gas was like $5 a gallon, you know?
Right.
You could go out in the middle of the desert and just like, let's go shoot under the supermoon, all that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of artistic friends and friends of friends. So it just kind of followed me.
Interesting. So what was the first, you said you did pinup stuff, but what attracted you to pinup stuff originally, right? Because there's people, I think the other thing people don't understand is that not every model does every type of modeling, right? And that people usually do what they're most interested in, and they may, move around a little bit, but a fashion model is probably not going to do pinup work. So what specifically drew you to pinup work?
I didn't actually like pinup very much.
Interesting.
They're my favorite. I like the cars. Put me in a car and then I'm happy. But it was more so I could do it. It was easy to get the clothes. I struggled to do my hair, but I got it done. I hate doing my hair. I always hate doing my hair. It was just out there. It was easy. And yeah, the cars themselves are probably what kept me doing it. And I would say that posing wise, pinup posing is very, I don't know, I say very Barbie, because Barbie is like kind of like stiff. So, you do like just do these really happy, like they're kind of dramatic, but I don't know. I feel like it's a good start. And yeah, some of the fashion was cute. The makeup was cute too. Yeah, it was just there, and it did help like build up for me.
The culture around pinup is really interesting too. Tell us a little bit about that culture, because it's not like really just a car thing. It's like a car. It's like this whole thing, and I don't know too much about it. So tell me more about that culture.
So there's different cultures of it actually. There's just like classic pinup. There's like the rockabilly pinup. but then there's also psychobilly pinup. So there's so many different flares to it, but then you can go by different decades as well. 1950s is probably the most like popular, 40s also, any of those war times. I actually like the 1960s. That's my favorite when it comes to fashion and makeup and everything. There's also tiki. There's tiki pinup.
I'm sorry,
Um,
what?
yeah, tiki. Like the tiki, like the drinks, the umbrellas, and the coconuts and stuff. There's actually a local. She's a singer and she plays ukulele. Her name is Teeny Tal, and she's a tiki pinup. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so you started at pinup. I think the other thing that most people don't understand too is modeling. I don't know how to say this without it sounding like weird, but it's not always like the safest profession. Like I've talked to a lot of models, and all of them have a lot of creepy stories. And my first advice to anybody is always check the reference on your photographer, because if he's a creep, it's people are talking about it. So like, how did you're early on, you're in this process. I'm sure you encountered creeps. What was sort of like the nightmare scenario? And then how did you stay safe after that?
So when I started out, it was for anyone, if this rings a bell for them, Model Mayhem was when I started out. So I was on Model Mayhem, and I already, it's a running joke amongst my friends. I already have trust issues. Say anything to me, and I'm gonna be like, "Who is this person?" and kind of like do a full check on what they said. So I was actually given really good advice by other photographers at the time too. And I think the nice part about things like Model Mayhem, though, is because you can go and you can look at the reviews when people say. I did Google people constantly, try to see who they were. Um, the advice one photographer gave me, super cool. He told me to always make sure I take a picture of the license plate of whoever I'm with. Take a picture of that license plate, send it to someone immediately. If you get a picture of the person, even better, screenshot their profile, like whatever it is, and like share that with like multiple people. Nowadays, too, like I have my location shared with, I think, three of my good friends. So even if they don't know like what I'm doing for the day, if they're like, Marina's missing and it's been like a week, they have my location so they can see where I've been at. But it really is just checking the source. And if you feel uncomfortable, just you don't have to follow through.
My wife thinks I'm like crazy paranoid. And just to clarify, I am also crazy paranoid, but like we do that same thing, right? And I work around the criminal justice system. And so like I hear these nightmare scenarios, and you can't go through things like that and just not have it affect you. So I totally get it. How often do you shoot now? Like what's your
I've never been someone who shoots a lot, and it does have to do with me being very picky and particular. I don't want to shoot with just anyone. Everybody has conflicting schedules, is what I found too.
Mhm.
And I I like quality, but then there's also people who, if they're starting out, oh, like, yeah, sell yourself to me or just have a good looking portfolio or know what you want. And I'm like happy to shoot with them as well. I took a bit of a break. I'll take like a break here and there too. But I mean, I have at least a couple a month. I just got a few photos back from a shoot I did. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Great turnaround time, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'll
crazy
give the
fast.
photographer like I'm like, if it's a month and you give them to me, that's still quick to me because everybody's got lives.
Right.
But that one was cool. I just posted one photo from that, and then as more come in, I'll probably post more. But yeah, I keep pretty busy. I have more that I just we need to just like finalize dates, which I think is the hardest part.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone's got a million things going on, and photographers and models often find themselves in demand at the last moment too. I'm sure.
And I know that one photographer, we keep trying to work with each other, but we want to do an outdoor shoot. And so the weather worked against us for like 3 weeks in a row. It was just the weather, the weather, the weather. And, the weather was supposed to be great, great all week. And then the day comes and you're like, shit, we can't shoot today. Gotta
I
change it.
tried to do outdoor shoots. My anxiety, I don't know if you picked this up from like the lighting and everything, like my OCD is like through the roof. If I can't control the weather, I don't want to be shooting outside like that. Fuck that.
I did my first. Okay, so I've been in Ventura County for, we'll just say, like a decade.
Mhm.
I had never done a beach shoot ever. Never had a desire to. One, there's just like, I'm like, it's a mess, right? If it just seems like a mess, and it's just I don't know. It's here. Finally, did my first beach shoot last summer, and ended up being fine. Thank goodness. The water was weirdly warm for Ventura too, and I was like, this is perfect.
Are those the
I
ones that you posted where you're in between the rocks and stuff? Because I saw that, and the very first thing I thought is that water has to be freezing. Fuck that.
Oh, I was, what the hell was I wearing? And it was like a super simple, just like brown bikini, and literally perfection. I was like, this water feels so nice, so wonderful.
My wife also thinks I'm very paranoid about getting in the ocean. Like I eat a lot of fish, and my theory is that sharks eat fish, therefore I'm delicious, right? So I'm not getting in the ocean for any reason. She thinks I'm crazy though. So
No, I don't get in the ocean. I don't eat fish. I don't get in the ocean. Why would I want to get in the ocean? Like, it's cool to look at. I'll go like stand a little bit, but
I mean,
I don't
didn't
know.
we leave there at one point as a species too? Like it doesn't want us back. That's why it's got waves. We try and get in the ocean's just like, nah, get out.
Yeah, don't need it.
So tell me how, okay, so you're modeling, you're doing it, kind of when you want to, which is a cool schedule.
Yeah.
What is your 9 to 5 like? What do you do when you're not modeling? Because you've got a lot of other ventures that you're involved in, it seems like.
Yeah, so I mean, of course I have just like a 9 to 5 job, which is fantastic, right? Love having a 9 to 5 job. Love working.
We love a paycheck. We love a paycheck.
We love benefits. We just love security. And I also just like my job, so it's nice. So besides that, yeah, I do the modeling, podcast, Ventura Tide Pod.
How did you get involved with them?
They're so good. I don't know how I got so lucky to actually like be a part of it. It all started last October. They were doing, what was it, like a women's month.
Mhm.
So all of October they had just women as their guests, which is super cool. I don't know. I never asked them actually. I don't know how the hell they came across me, but one day they messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to be on our podcast?" I was like, "Sure." I had never been on a podcast yet. And I said, "Hell yeah, okay, I'll do this." And they told me I could bring a friend if I wanted, whatever. I said, "Nah, it's cool, I'll just go." I show up, and I didn't watch the podcast first. I had seen, I think, like reels and like story shares and stuff, but I told myself that I wanted to walk into this as blindly as possible, because I said to myself, let's get the most genuine everything out of this and just show up. And I did. And it could have gone horribly.
Right.
But it went so well that they said, "Do you want to come back on?" And they kept asking, and I just kept coming back on. And finally it was, "So this is who's coming this day. And this is who's coming this day." And I was just there.
That's the weirdest story of how anyone I've ever known got it. Like I accidentally became a podcast host is sort of what I would name that book if it was a book.
Yeah.
So tell me about the mystery shop. Like, how did you get involved with these folks? Because you're always posting stuff, and that seems like such an interesting group of people. Seems like such an interesting story. Tell me about that.
Similar story. So I have my own nerdy things, which, I think we all do. We all have our
Not me. I'm the coolest dude you've ever met. With my Star Trek quotes. No.
I hope you throw some in there. So I used to live like closer to the mystery shop used to be. So the mystery shop was located downtown Ventura, like right on Main Street, right on the corner. Great location, right? I live nearby, and I would just walk around there. During COVID, I actually ended up being furloughed too. So I just had a shit ton of time on my hands anyways, right? So I would walk in, I would look at the comics and look at other things, make casual conversation. There wasn't usually like a lot of people in there because I'd go at random times. Also, my work schedule back then was very just sporadic. So, good for me. I could do things in the middle of the day. Not
Right.
everybody does that. And so Fusion, the owner, we would just make conversation, we talk, and sometimes I would talk to some of the people that would come in, some of the regulars, they see me around more often. So, and I guess I'm chatty, maybe. I'm a little
No, I'm not
chatty.
picking that up at all. You're real wooden on this mic. Just kidding.
So even okay, so I like to troll people. I'm a huge troll. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a mean troll. I'm not like an online bully. I'm a sarcastic, don't believe half the things I say troll to people. And I can just insert myself anywhere and pretend like I'm supposed to be there. And I did that in the shop many a times, I think. I accidentally sold stuff for him and upsold on so many things. I don't even know what happened. Like, there was a guy looking at Pokemon cards one day and ended up buying like $100 worth of Pokemon cards. Why? Because we sat and I was like, these are my favorite.
And let me guess, you pointed to the most expensive ones you thought this person could buy, no doubt.
Shiny ones. I said, look, here's a shiny one. Like, so I just ended up being there and making friends with everyone else who's there too. That was like his friends and just became part of the friend group. And what sealed the deal, and I swear to God, this is what sealed the deal on the friendship, was so it was mostly summertime when I'd be walking around, right? Beach is there. I'd be in like my shorts, a bikini, like I was probably just literally at the beach or planning on going or whatever. It's hot outside. I came in one day, I was wearing sweats and a hoodie, which is my other normal attire, okay? Like, choose your character. This is comfy, Mina.
Right.
I walk in, I might even have my hood on for all I know. And I walk in, he just gives me like the, hey, if you need help, let me know, right? Which is weird. And then I walk up to the counter and he was like, oh, shit, I didn't recognize you. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know, you're wearing clothes. I was like, what? So that just solidified everything. I was like, all right, just like the casualness too of how he's like, I don't know, you're just wearing clothes. So I was like, yeah, all right.
Awkward segues that if somebody overhears, they're like, how well do you two know each other kind of deal, right?
People would always, it was because I would be the girl. We have another friend, Jen, who she's an artist. She has art there. She's fantastic. But she'd be around sometimes too. So this would happen to her, I'm sure. I was around a lot though. And so, yeah, people were like, who is she? What does she even do here? Like, is she dating someone? Like, why is she here? And of course, sometimes he'd be like, oh, she owns the place. Or like, say something else like that. I'd be like, he's my ex-wife. Just like something stupid. So to this day, people will be like, what do you do here? And I'll be like, I don't know. Depends on the day.
It feels that story feels very much like the movie Clerks, right? Where it's
Which
like,
I've never seen in my whole life.
hold on. Okay, we need to have an intervention. You've never seen Clerks.
I have not.
Your Instagram is fucking Randall from Clerks. And I mean that as like the highest compliment I can give someone. I am giving you a homework assignment. The next time you come on this podcast, you better have seen Clerks by then.
Okay. All right. It's on my list to watch because I hear that reference constantly. Like, you have no idea. It's not the first time I've heard that. And I'm like, I have literally never seen Clerks. Like, I don't know what to say about it. It's probably on one of the streaming platforms I have. I have no excuse.
It is Arrested Development before there was Arrested Development. It's the exact same type of humor, but like late 90s. And what's really funny about that movie is I used to get sick a lot as a kid, and I got really bad strep throat. And my mom would bring home movies from the video store for me to watch in this little like TV. It was like that big, right? And she brought home Clerks, and I think I must have been like 12 years old, and I watched this shit and I was like, I'm screwed up for life, like in the best possible, like I'm just gonna swear compulsively and make porn jokes, and just like everything about this is going to be my whole life, and it hasn't changed much since then.
Fantastic. I have to watch. I love Arrested Development, so I guess I have to watch it.
Sanctus just texted me. He's like, "Are you guys live?" I'm like, "Tech issues. Will have to broadcast later."
Tell Sanctus we're live for everyone except him.
I am
Tell him
deleting and seeing how far we can push this. So yeah, what are you talking about?
This is what I mean by trolling.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I don't get to. I'm not someone who really gets to fuck with people. I also don't have a great poker face, and so as he can't see this, I can really mess with people. This is going to be great. I'll let you know how that goes. But sort of like follow up question: what are your nerdy things? Because you seem like you've got a lot of interests.
So I grew up with like my dad's comic collection. That's probably part of what started it. I'm in between my two brothers, so naturally, you know, I'm in the middle of two boys. We would do a lot of the same things together. So play GI Joes and Barbie, play video games with them. Middle school, high school, a lot of gaming happened with them, which was really nice. Gosh, what else? Okay, so I did start collecting like the first series of Wonder Woman, especially the bondage issues. If you're not familiar, there are plenty of Wonder Woman covers for her comics that feature her in some kind of weird predicament where you can it's BDSM.
The Betty Page covers.
Yeah, and you're just like, there's one where she's all wrapped up in the rope and there's like a camera on her, and I'm like, where's your clothes, girl? What happened there? What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I love horror movies too, which I guess is its own fandom also. I do like anime also.
When you say anime, because like there seems to be, I don't know, I've watched a fair amount of anime, and there are definitely like levels to that shit. So when you say anime, are we talking like Pokemon, Naruto, or are we talking about like Akira and things like that?
So I do love Pokemon. Of course, I love Pokemon. I always carry around backpacks, my little like Loungefly backpacks. I do. I'm the backpack girl. And right now, not even right now, for most of the time, I use my Pokemon one with all the starters. My favorite is Charmander when it comes to starters. I have on my collarbone a little Cubone tattoo, so.
So you're repping for Pokemon, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I rep it. You'll see me playing Pokemon Go. I've been on the Tide Pod, and there's a Pokestop right by Randall's little place, and I'll just be like, I'll just be like battling and catch. Yeah, Uno's called me out for that. Thank you, Uno, so much. He'll be like, "Are you playing Pokemon right now?" I'll be like, "Yeah, shut up, hold on." I'm like, I just have to. You got to get it in while you can.
Listen, I've been in meetings. Actually, I shouldn't say that because there's a good chance that one of my customers might say that. I have definitely been in meetings and not been paying attention, but never meetings with customers. There you go. That's it.
See, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'll be on hold for a long time, and I'll be like, "Well, I'll just play some Pokemon, I guess. I don't know." But my favorite anime series are Cowboy Bebop. Always gonna be number one. Love Cowboy Bebop. Sailor Moon, classic. Who can't relate to Sailor Moon? If you can't relate to Sailor Moon, obviously you don't love sleeping and you don't love eating. So sorry, we can't be friends. Rurouni Kenshin was one I grew up with too, which is samurai. Akira is cool. Akira is a good one. All the studio, if someone is gonna fucking correct me on this, Ghibli, however you want to pronounce it, it all depends on your region and your territory, is what Google told me. So
the person who will not be correcting you on pronouncing anything is this person right here, because if someone's name is not like spelled out phonetically, I will fuck it up. I will just fuck it up.
I used to say, okay, words you never say out loud, but they're there. Okay, I'm a huge reader. I understand. I comprehend so much. I've just always been really great at reading and comprehension, but you don't always say the words out loud, or people don't always tell you how to say it, or you grow up in an area. Like if you're from the South, you say things a specific way, right? Okay. Well, I didn't know. hold on a second. Genuine. I didn't know for the longest time I was saying it wrong. I was saying it like genuine. Like,
I mean,
the
that's
frickin',
very Southern, right? Southern people say it that way.
it's very like, what is that? What is that song? Pony?
Pony, yeah.
And now just every time I say it, that just runs through my head. And I'm like, that's it. Literally, no one corrected me on that for a very long time. And it's a little bit disappointing that someone did eventually. But
That's always the worst moment too, because you're like, how many of you motherfuckers heard me say this and didn't correct me? It's like when you get home and there's like food on your shirt and you've been like, how many hours has this been on here? You dicks. I thought we were friends.
I was just like, just let me have it, let me say it like the freaking R&B guy, all right? Just leave me alone.
So Sanctus wrote back on Instagram. Am I right back? No, dude. On YouTube.
Tell him we even invited him. Ask him why he didn't get the invite.
Sent you an invite. Weird.
This is why Tide Pod wanted me back on the show.
Yeah, I can see why. This is good. This is, like he's either going to be really pissed when he realizes that we're trolling him, or he's going to think it's the funniest shit ever. I don't know which one we're going to get. So
my first prank calls, I'd never done prank calls before. My first prank calls were actually on the Tide Pod, and I loved it.
So did you grow up listening to like Jerky Boys or Crank Yankers or any of that stuff?
Oh, don't even know what. I've heard of Crank Yankers, but no, I never bothered with those.
So 12 out of 10, if you enjoy prank calls. So the original prank call so back in the day, there wasn't any way to like stream anything. So you had to go out and buy CDs. And if you went in the comedy section, there was a group called the Jerky Boys, and they would call random businesses and just see how far they could push some of these people, right? Like, and they would do accents and things like that. And they'd call someone and be like, "You kicked my dog. You have to pay for an operation." And the person would be like, "I didn't kick your dog." You'd be like, "Dude, you kicked my dog. You have to pay for an operation. Dude, my dog now has to have an operation because you kicked him. I saw you kick my dog." And they would just like ramp this person up. Or they would have like someone who posted like a job posting in the paper. They would call him and be like, this is, like they'd have someone super aggro be like, "You should give me the job and here's why, like I can sell anything." And they would get more and more inappropriate as they went along just to see if they could fuck with this person. And then later on that became Crank Yankers, basically. Crank Yankers took a bunch of stuff that this dog is the real star of this stream, I'm telling you right now. But Crank Yankers would be like, they would be like, they would take that and they would do puppets with it too. And they would have celebrities come on and do some of these calls. So they'd have like David Allen Greer, who would like call like a herbalist and then pretend to be like projectile vomiting, and you'd have this puppet projectile vomiting on the screen, and he'd be like, "I really am very sick," blah, like, and this person would be like, "You should call a hospital." "No, I can't call a hospital. I don't have health insurance," like, and just, he would just fuck with them more and more and more. And that shit was just, it was one of my favorite shows. And I was really sad when it went off the air because we hit that level of comedy where we were like, this is probably not appropriate anymore.
Like Celebrity Deathmatch, when they're like, "Oh,
yes,
we should stop this," and then they just cut it.
And that was one of those shows that, like, especially if you've ever done stop animation, you're like, the talent it took to put this together is just crazy, because that takes hours to do.
I say that one, if anything came back, it should be Celebrity Deathmatch, especially with all these rappers having like beef with each other, which I think is the funniest thing. I'm like, just Celebrity Deathmatch them and we're all good. No one can argue.
Hold that thought on beef, because I just got a text from our other unknown co-host right now, Lord Sanctus. Let's see. Oh, he sent a screenshot. Strange. Yeah, it's definitely live. Let me send him a picture of our screen. There we go. Let's just like zoom in so it doesn't look like it's inside Eevee Mox. There we go. Okay, this is good shit. I feel like a dick, but also not really. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, back to beef with rappers. So we were involved recently in a very interesting sort of like spectator way of a beef on the coast. And I talked to Sanctus about it last week. His take on it, I think, was a really healthy one. From your perspective, being outside the culture, though, how unintentionally funny was that? Because as someone who is also outside the culture, that was very unintentionally funny. What was your take on that whole thing?
I I love I love some piping hot tea. All right? Like I thoroughly enjoy the memes and everything that come out of these things. Okay? I don't care. I'm like this is fantastic. Can we keep this going? And the creativity is just like top tier. I'm like how come you guys weren't this creative like okay, yes, great. Artist, fantastic, great. But there's something different about when you're just like, I hate you. And you're just like putting that out there. It's so beautiful. This is why we have villains. And this is why I say it's okay to have a grudge once in a while. It's fine. You need that sometimes for fuel. And I love to watch it happen. So, outside perspective is it was beautiful.
So more of that for you.
Give me more. Yeah. Yeah, give me more. Give me all the tea. Let me just it's refreshing. You know, you see the same memes over and over and then now you get new ones and it's forever there. I remember oh gosh, what was it? The Hotline Bling. That was around for too long. That one where he's in the room or doing whatever. This is so much better. And then when people are dissecting and they're like, also this and this and this, I'm like, the internet is wild. You have too much information at your hands, but please tell me more. Let me hear this.
What I thought was so weird about it was like, and I'm gonna talk. Uno's coming on the show next week, so I want to be really careful not to like spoil it. But if you take this concept and apply it to any other form of music, it sounds so stupid. Like if you were like the Four Toughs have an issue with the Temptations and they're going to write a song about, like you would be like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But because it's rap music, it has a cachet of coolness that the rest of like if I was like, yeah, I got beef with another podcast, that just sounds dumb. Like no one's tuning in for that.
Actually, celebrity deathmatch it. Let's just all tune in. Let's just all do it.
Listen, I'm a big fan of pro wrestling. Everyone will tell you that. Like pro wrestling is my secondary nerd thing. My first one probably being like Magic the Gathering and comic books and Star Trek.
Yeah.
But you know, if we want to have like a storyline with Ventura Tide Pod, like I'm down to get hit with a chair. Like I'm already telling you, I will bump for this for sure.
I think we should make it happen. I think it's a thing. It should be a thing. We'll bring Sanctus in.
Oh hell yeah.
Gosh. Speaking of Uno though, I love when Uno's in the chat for Connect the Coast. And I love because I just love talking shit. And it's been too long since Tide Pod's been on. When when I said something and he just like the greatest comebacks. Like some of the things that are said are just like so slick. I'm like, that's beautiful. That's wonderful.
That is a man I don't want to like. It was super funny because he was on Sanctus's show last night and he was just going off, and I was like, "It's gonna be a really calm episode. We're gonna do some like meditation. Like my goal is to keep that dude calm because like he gets going and you can just hear that engine revving and you can't stop him, and he is just firing off, and you're just like, but I have a question, you know."
I love having him on the Tide Pod. I always learn something new. I learned what a blunt was versus a joint. I did learn that.
I feel so lame. Like I'm basically straight edge. So I've smoked weed like twice in my life, I think, ever, and I don't know the difference. Could you educate me? What is a blunt? What is a joint?
From what I remember, one, they smell entirely different. And this whole thing, why roll these yourselves? Just go buy something. You know, It's not a meal. Like, even then, just I don't know. I got a lot of opinions on the building, okay? Like whatever. It has to do with, I guess, like the paper on it or something. Like a blunt has more. Like literally, it's something really tiny like that.
So a blunt is to a joint what a cigarette is to a cigar,
Yes,
basically?
yes. That's
Okay.
actually yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
So back to comic books. Which are you a Marvel? So I take it you're a pretty big DC person, right?
No, actually, I prefer a lot of the indie comics
Okay.
over anything. I mean, if I took like mainstream, definitely Zatanna. Love Zatanna, who's, DC. I had a lot of Captain America. Love Vampirella. Give me Vampirella all day. I don't know, these like dark haired women in like tiny little outfits, just I don't know what it is.
You're like,
I
I
love
can see my future
Yeah,
somewhere,
I love it for everyone. Rogue, I love Rogue, love Gambit, but X Men overall can do without. I don't need X Men overall. Okay, just I have a lot of opinions about Miss Jean Grey and about her one-eyed wannabe boyfriend thing. Like, I got a lot of opinions about them. All right, trash. Get out.
If your character can be made fun of on The Simpsons, you don't have any cool factor. Like I always think of the episode where they go into the comic book shop and he's like, "Oh, check it out, it's a Cyclops comic," and Milhouse is like, "Yeah, but I like this other one. It's called Biclops. It's the same, but he has two eyes." And it's like, that's it.
Yep.
Biclops. You're not gonna do better than that.
Beautiful. So good. The indie comics, though, especially being at the mystery shop,
Mhm.
there's so many talented writers and artists in just like indie world. There's this guy, J.M. Brandt. He makes some really freaking awesome, kind of campy for some of them, like horror thriller comics
Mhm.
that are just, one, they're gorgeous. And then two, there's, oh my God, just the storylines are fantastic. There's one that it kind of looks like you look at it and you're like, is this mystery vibes? Like Scooby Doo? And the two main characters are like a lesbian couple or something like that. So it hits different target audiences too, and different storylines than what you get out of a lot of the mainstream. Yeah, we got Harley Quinn and Ivy, who are like a couple now apparently, but I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of like meh.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me, especially as Batwoman already. It's already ground Batwoman already covered in a better way with probably slightly better art. Because I was a big fan of the New 52, and then they did away with that again, and I was like, no, okay, well,
Yeah,
cool. I guess I was the only one. So
I like Catwoman a lot. Every version of Catwoman except Halle Berry. Fuck that version. Actually, no, Anne Hathaway's version worse. That's all right though.
really,
But yeah,
no,
I'm
no.
a big
What's the why there? You got to back up and explain that to me because
which
I'm curious.
both of them.
With Anne Hathaway, what's the reason?
I didn't like it. I feel like she's too. If you grew up with Catwoman, right? Like every Catwoman, like even the Halle Berry one, I felt like she had that edge to her. You
Hmm.
know, Anne Hathaway, she's just soft and she's unconvincing to me when it comes to just being Catwoman. Even just like the way her body moves and everything in comparison to other women who played Catwoman, or just how you could picture her from the comics. She doesn't come off to me as being that bad girl. If that
She's no Zoe Kravitz, that's for sure.
that was the best. That was like so good.
Did
And
you
I
read
had
any of the stories that came off that set?
no, probably great.
So that director basically said, I will never work with Robert Pattinson again. Like he is insane. They
Uh-huh.
caught him and Zoe Kravitz fucking on the hood of the Batmobile after they had thought everyone had left the set. I
Yeah,
was
okay.
like, you guys are just living your parts. Like
Yeah.
that's just met that's just acting.
That's what happened in real life. It's fine. It's fine. I did have to explain to people because her outfit was very different
Mhm.
than what you see. And some people were like, "Oh, I didn't like the mask, this and that." I'm like, she is literally riding a motorcycle in these things. I was like, if you have ever ridden a motorcycle or looked at a rider,
Mhm.
what she's wearing makes perfect sense
Right.
to go on and off of a motorcycle. And even the whole like ski mask thing like that, I'm like, it looks fucking cold out there. She's gonna have something warm underneath her little helmet, okay? Especially if she puts the visor up, you know? I was like, it all makes perfect sense. What's the problem? She got little ears. It's fine. And it's not like she's like, it's like beginning of Catwoman. It's not like she's like super developed into her character, but
Well, I think the other thing that's hard for a lot of people to understand, and I get into this with Marvel fans all the time, because for me, Marvel is the safe comic books. Like you read them if you're like, I like comic books, and like indie comics are the ones that if you really love comics, like I got a box full of like DMZ back there. I have a Judge Dredd #1 on my wall over here, and like indie comics are where it's at if you want stories that you're not going to see anywhere else. And DC, for all of its failings, and look, Warner Brothers has got a lot of failings. They're going bankrupt for I think like the 9th time in 5 years, I think again. But at least they make different movies. Like Suicide Squad is a terrible movie, but it's different. It's not like anything else, right?
it's definitely different.
Okay, so comic books, but you said you read a lot. What do you read?
I read. I'll go through not really phases, but I read a lot of different things. Right now, I'm reading. What am I reading? Players Ball, which is about. God, I barely started that one. It has to do with the internet, like Match.com,
Mm-hmm.
and it's based on it's true stuff. A journalist wrote it. So the guy who made up Match.com fighting with this dude who's a con artist and stole one of his domains. So this is when domains are being bought out.
Mm-hmm.
That one I'm reading In the Weeds, which is about one of the producers that worked with Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
So that one is like an account of the guy and just like what it was like working with him and being on these shows for like years with this guy. But then I'm also reading this new book called Margot's Got Money Problems. I'm on Book of the Month Club, and that was my chosen like book of the month. So that one's like, yeah, it's like an easier read. It's just easy fiction, good though.
So, what makes you choose a book other than the Book of the Month Club? Like, are there things that you look for in books?
Yeah, sometimes they interest me, but they're not interesting enough to start, so I'll just like save them. I have my Kindle. I'll download like free stuff constantly that just looks good. I'm usually reading probably like 3 books at once, partially because I'll have my Kindle. Now I have what I call my upstairs downstairs book. So I'll whatever I'm reading upstairs, I got tired of going up and downstairs. So basically, if it's upstairs, that's my upstairs book. If it's downstairs, it's my downstairs book.
If I had an upstairs, I do all my stuff by audiobooks. Like I'm super dyslexic, so I read a lot for work visually, and it's exhausting for me. So when I want to read, I just do audiobooks. And if I had an upstairs, I would have an upstairs audiobook and a downstairs audiobook because I think I have like the same thing as you. Like I'll download stuff and I just don't end up listening to it, or I start it and I'm like, like I'm not committing to someone who in the very first 5 minutes loses the plot because I know that the rest of that book is going to be that way. I've tried to read Dune 7 times and I have never gotten through it for that reason.
I have found that some books you need. I don't know if you remember the Great Illustrated Classics.
Mm-hmm.
Or all abridged. Some books you need that. Sometimes you need to go find the young adult edition and just read those, and you're like, this is so good. But don't read the full version because there's a lot of filler that's just probably not needed.
So we have an update on the Sanctus fronts. He emphasized the picture, which leads me to believe he's now trying to figure out if it's on his side. So I'll just be like, yeah, dude, you are missing out.
Say, yo, I thought you were the podcast pro.
I'm not doing that, dude. That's a low blow considering the technical issues he's had recently.
No, the Ventura Tide Pod, we haven't had a show because of our literal electrical issues. Like, I just got a text from Randall today saying our electrical is fixed. He went out and like was on vacation. We've been out for months, right?
Right.
Had things to do, we've all things to do, but mostly he came back and like ants were all up in the electrical in the studio and nothing was working. So we literally had like nothing to go off of. Our last show was out of the mystery shop when it was in between. So if anyone has issues, it is Ventura Tide Pod. And when
Must be
people
the
do
ants. It must be the ants in Sanctus's Mac that's just causing it to crash. That's what it's got to be.
it,
Sanctus, when you're watching this later, get some raid, get that shit fixed, bro. Like you can't be crashing all the time. Hold on, I got an answer back. I don't know what to do. Crying emoji. Oh, how far do we push this though? Like, do we just keep this going?
yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna give him like 10 minutes, so it feels like I'm not fucking with him, and then I'm just gonna be like, oh man, we just talked about, it, and I'll put something like really exciting in there. So okay, back to literature. What is the worst book you've ever read?
My God, The Call of the Wild, horrible. The Scarlet Letter, horrible. But I think the first book I ever read where I was like, this is shit, was The Call of the Wild. And I don't know why, but I was like, I hate this. I didn't like the way it was written. I was just like, this is not good. I don't like this. And that's all I have to say about that one. Like, fuck that book.
For
Jack
people who
London,
don't know, what is the Call of the Wild about?
I don't. Okay, and here's the thing: I have huskies. All right, I got huskies. This is about a dogs. Jack London. He does like dog runs or something. It's like the not cool version of Balto. Okay, give me Balto. Not Call of the Wild.
That belongs on what is that page where you can Goodreads, right? The uncool version of Balto. 1 star.
I actually love writing reviews on Goodreads. Like, and I have to get back to I have like my book account on Instagram that I need to go back and like start posting on again. I used to, so I've had my OnlyFans for a couple of years now, and that actually started from me reading erotica out loud, which I actually now see people doing like fun reviews of like these. Some erotic books are weird. They are weird. I don't know if people are serious when they write them.
My wife tells me about the ones that she reads, and I will not share it on here because, again, like my customers could end up watching this at some point. But I'll look at her and be like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's really good." And I'm like, "That there's no way that that's good. There's no way."
I'm talking about like no, like is this even a kink or is this just like a weird dream you wrote down? Like you're banging a couch? How is this a thing? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Like, is this a kink, or did you get drunk and wake up doing this? Like, are you just confessing? Is that what this is?
There's a fine line. There's a fine line right there.
I guess my question too is like, and like for people who don't, so I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in the Valley. I grew up in the 90s, right? So like pornography was not something that I did not understand, right? I was in the home of pornography. HBO had like a 7-part special in the late 90s called Growing Up in the Valley, right? And it was all about pornography in the Valley.
And there was the old lady who had like the midnight show.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth Ginsburg.
Yes.
That's it.
Someone, yeah.
Who also could make grown men just turn beet red when she was on Conan O'Brien. She was on there with the Big Show once, and they were talking about like dildos, and he's just turning the brightest shade of red, and she takes one and like sticks it on his forehead. I couldn't. I think I woke my parents up laughing so much at that episode.
Oh my God.
So, okay. Why is OnlyFans a good thing? Because I can think from my perspective why it's some good things, but what do people not understand about OnlyFans?
I know the biggest question I get is they don't understand why people pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's the difference between it is a difference between like fantasy and reality, I would say. You can go on and you can search on like, I don't know, there's probably like 10 million websites out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can you have a conversation? Are they letting you into their life in any way? Are they posting things unexpected? Or is this one person you're like, oh, like celebrities? You have a celebrity crush on someone, when a new picture comes out, you're like, oh my God, look at them, right? It's similar to that. sending messages. Sometimes you have to pay for them. I don't have paid for my messages yet. Some of y'all are assholes though, so I might put that on there.
Listen, as your attorney, I would be remiss in not advising you. And by the way, I'm not an attorney for anyone who actually wants to know. I just say that. But like, as your attorney, if you're gonna have to deal with assholes, you should get paid for it for sure.
Exactly. And oh my god, I think I've had mine for, I want to say like 3 years now, something like that. And the way I built mine out is very well. Okay, so the way I built mine out and what I see now, I feel like I was kind of ahead of the curve on some of these things. So I'll follow certain accounts like Suicide Girls and Hopeful Suicide Girls, right? Just to kind of like help have content on my thing too. And sometimes it's nice to see like, oh, this is what they're putting out. Maybe it'll give me ideas, or just, I don't know, supporting other women, right? They have like free accounts, things like that. I always had mine to, I did the whole like, my page was never free, but you'd have to purchase specific content. And then one day I was like, yeah, this is a bunch of bullshit and I don't want to do this much work with it. So I made my account where it's, you pay one flat price for the month. It's this much money. Okay. And everything I post is going to be like on my wall. And then if you really want something specific, just a conversation, whatever, just ask me. But pretty much like I might not check my DMs, but feel free to check out my wall. And that has been the most successful thing ever. People will like maybe not be, they'll unsubscribe and subscribe and they'd be like, oh my god, did I miss anything? Can you send me message? I'll pay this and that. It's like, now I have people unsubscribe, resubscribe, like they're okay coming back. And then I have less messages to worry about. It's a steadier income. I don't have to track like, okay, this person paid for this and I have to send them this, da 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 da. But I've seen other accounts do that now too. But then I also know other people and accounts who, they don't run their own accounts. They're not the people messaging. They're not the ones posting the content, things like that. So that's another difference too, where some of these big accounts, they might follow because it's like a celebrity or something, but then the smaller accounts, they're like, oh no, this is like a real person. You can kind of trust that that's the person who's posting and talking and like sharing updates.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I have found that a number of people that I know that I would not have expected actually have OnlyFans of their own. And again, I'm not by any means moralizing. It's not my job to, and I don't care, I think my question is, what are some of the things that helped you be prepared to take on only, because it sounds like your OnlyFans is a really healthy thing, right? And there's definitely people that you talk to and you're like, you're doing this for the wrong reasons, right? So like, what were some of the things in your life that prepared you to have a healthy relationship with something like this?
I think partially from, so going back to modeling, I think my openness with, I guess, myself, kind of helped me to, it's that good relationship with yourself that you can put out there too. Friends and people just being comfortable having conversations with me that are just like, like, oh, what about this or that? I have a friend who used to work in like a sex store, that kind of stuff. I'm comfortable walking into like anything, especially when there's not a crowd. There's not usually a crowd in a sex store. You're usually pretty safe on that one. So it, being able to have like conversations with people, and I didn't, it's like I feel like everything's a character, but I really wasn't putting on like an actual like character. And being comfortable with myself and talking to people already just, I think, helps set it up for success. And then every time somebody, and this is how it started, people kept getting in my DMs and they'd send me like God knows what messages and pictures. Right. And I was like, you know what? How about this? You can go over here and you can talk to me like that over here. You can send me whatever you want over here. And that's the only way I'm going to acknowledge it. So then it also helps separate the world of douchebags and my personal life. And, like, everything. It really helped me so that if I logged on to Instagram, I wasn't going to have someone like sending me something that was obscene, you know?
That is there's a lot to unpack there, as my therapist would say. In the words of Arrested Development, allow me to take off my actor hat and put on my ananthropist stocking. There's gonna be a bunch of references that people are gonna have to like Google at the end of this, which always makes me happy. Okay. Question sort of being, my question is, I know guys and they have a lot of problems with boundaries. And most guys, as they get older, that actually doesn't get better unless they do the work of taking care of their own head. So now you have people that you may know in one sphere of your life who know about this other sphere of your life. And like, what is some advice you would give to guys who may be listening to this, who encounter that, about what not to do? Because I'm sure you've got some sizable red line items on that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, one, don't make assumptions immediately. Ask questions, but not in kind of like a weird way either. Like if you want to just take a girl on a date or whatever, be upfront. And I actually really hate it when someone like gets in my messages.
And it's that she needing it back. I'm working around, just letting it catch. These feelings intact, my cinnamon shawty. She using no gobby. I'm resting my 40, I'm looking to know her a little bit closer. No roller coaster, nipping is fine. I'm calling a mine, not taking a shot. The humble reside, taking the trash out. Gonna waste no time, never in my prime. This my new lifetime. I don't need no shot, gonna waste no time. Gonna waste no time.
Everything I'm thinking gonna happen, shorty. I'm trying to give you extra strokes. Weed hasn't thrown. Been a pleasure, nice to meet you. When's the matrimony? And me no disrespect. Don't be too casual for me. Take it for what it is, yeah. You trying to have my kids, yeah. If I go too fast, then you might leave me in suspense, yeah. You ain't making sense, yeah. Baby feeling tense, yeah. I told her, what's prime, baby? I wouldn't lie, baby. I wouldn't hug you, then gon' leave you. Push aside, baby. I see them signs, baby. Them desert eyes, baby. We gon' weather bigger storm, but that's in time, baby. Buffer calibrations if you be more patient with me. Feeling easy going time, but life done made me silly. Restoration case on 50. Ay, where's the case on D? Where's the case on D?
I'm so close to press back. I should've told you this, that.
Yeah. If me and the devil ran a fade, would you go for me? If they let me in the White House, would you vote for me? I paint that motherfucker brown and let the homies free. Man, who am I kidding? If I ran, they'd end up smoking me. Kissing on your neck, banging Jodeci. Then I'll beat the pussy up like it stole from me. My enemies in fear of dealing with the ghost of me. I ain't gon' hunt your little scary ass homies, G. Back to my brown skin queen, you caught my eye again. You all I need to get me through in this life of sin. It's another slow jam I'll dedicate to you. I'll flip this world upside down if they hate on you.
So close to press back. I should've told you this, that. I'm so close to press back. I should've told you this, that.
Lots wanna be, so you know the bitch.
Just me and you. What's good with you? Your king, your prince, my queen, my bitch. Your lips, your eyes, your hips, your thighs. We met tonight. I hit tonight. You been, I been, I hit it right. She dick, much I ice. You smoke, I drink. I know
I made a 20 out of 25 cents. I got the enemy streaming my shit. I make a broad only like coochie like this. Me and him, we ain't the same. He ain't got an ounce of game up in that brain. He love to try to throw smut up on my name. But when I see him, it be LA gang gang. Like we homies, but we not. That respect don't hit the same when it's buck. When it get hot for you, it's fuck the world. Y'all love the homies more than you love your girl. That shit sus. What the fuck? Cause she ain't never had a real one in them guts. Until I hit shit, and that was it. Y'all drink, think, and get pussy to my shit. Singing.
Just me and you. What's good with you? Your king, your prince, my queen, my bitch. Your lips, your eyes, your hips, your thighs. We met tonight. I hit tonight.
Now how many licks do it take for you to... You'll never know if you still fucking with a bum. Maybe one day, but y'all been cooked since day one. You tweaking if you beefing and you bitching over crumbs. Homie, I ain't the one. Stay the fuck around me. There ain't nothing that a broke motherfucker can tell me. I love it when y'all step up in the ring and doubt me. And end up going to sleep counting sheep by round 3. Look, now who let these dusty ass dingy pro club wearing ass motherfuckers in the function today? Me mugging with no hands, they got fucked up today. I don't know, but they scaring all the pussy away. I still like them brown eye, big old titties and thighs. Little homie, big old heart, get you wet between your thighs. So spit your game, baby girl. I'll be the pleasure to your pain. Whisper in your ear, baby. This is what I'm saying.
Just me and you.
CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast. It's the Holy Lord Sanctus, God of the coast, and you are watching CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast, playing 805 hip hop and R&B every single Monday through Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. How is everybody? I don't know how long I'm gonna be on. It definitely depends on if the chat gets active or not. This is a Saturday. I usually don't stream live on Saturdays because I like to rest on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to work myself to death. But yesterday was like the most technical difficulties that we've had so far. So excuse me, I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. I felt that it was only right that I come back and give y'all at least an hour. Excuse me. Plus, there's some new music that I want to play as well. The Name Uno dropped a new joint with Mike Valley, AMG, super fire. I love the video. Destructive did it. Shout out to Destructive. And then Big Time Bake dropped a remix to Gangsta Party, and it's called After Party. It's one of those big DJ Khaled type collaborative records, which we don't see a lot of from the coast. Connect the Coast is definitely the most known for doing those kind of big records. Connect the Coast and 7 Records, I would say. And now I'd add Green Hill to that list. But it is still pretty rare considering how many artists there are on the coast. So I like seeing that. I like seeing that collaborative effort. And it's definitely like a black and brown collaborative thing, which I'm always happy to see. So we'll get into those two a little later. I know there was something I wanted to talk about, but I can't really remember what it was. But if I can remember and there's time, I'll talk about that as well. I want to stop trying to say as well. I don't know why I say that all the time. I want to stop. Flag that. If you hear me say it, flag it, because I want to stop saying that. But yeah, shout out to our sponsors, Connect Canna. It's the weekend. It's Saturday. So if you're trying to re-up, if you're headed to the beach, the lake, you're trying to roll one up, we got you. Just tap the link in our Instagram bio, and you can order directly to your location. And you'll get it within an hour if you order from the express menu. Our service is only available in Slow and Kern County, nowhere else. But if you're in those areas, then you can go ahead and tap the link in our Instagram bio and order yourself something. We have vapes, edibles, tinctures, flour, pre-rolls, the whole nine. So go ahead and do that. And it's a great way to support the stream. Also, shout out to epirates.club. I know that's probably not a word you hear every day, so let me go ahead and drop it in the chat so you can see what it's spelled like. But if you're a creative of any type, especially if you're in the 805, I highly suggest you visit epirates.club. You can list your services there, and get paid right on the platform through Stripe for free. It doesn't cost anything to sign up, so check that out, epirates.club. Shout out to Rare Breed and Chapsworth on that one. 7 Records is in the chat. What's good, yo? Thank you for joining. Please share the stream if you wouldn't mind. I was just telling whoever was going to end up seeing this that we're going to premiere AMG a little bit later. Very, very good job. I love that song. I love the video. It's not killing empty for me, but I still like the song a lot. I think that was another standout from the album for me. And if there's anything you want to hear out there, let me know. It's $5, Cash App or Venmo. Our Cash Apps Connect the Coast. Our Venmos Connect the Coast 2021. Include the title, the name of the title and the artist, and we'll definitely play that. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this little Yachty shit that's going on, yo. Yeah, so if there's time, we'll talk about that as well. So we might have a packed show. So let's get into it. Actually, let's what do we want to start with? Should we why wait, right? Why wait? Let's just do it. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna start off with the 2 premieres. Up first, we got Big Time Bake After Party remix to Gangsta Party featuring Big E, Henface, Mo Licks from Slump Boys, and I seen OGT in the background. So check this out, world premiere CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast. We got AMG right after this.
This the after party, let the bros in. That money sound get me activated. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
There go that money sound again, you know I'm loving it. Hit the gangsta party, now my niggas thugging it. City rocking with me, everybody fucking with it. Yo mama, cousin, granny, your whole family out here bumping it. This ain't a gangsta party, baby, this the after party. Margot Robbie's in the spot, I see a couple Barbies. We off the rope spot, jumping like it's Jeff Hardy. And if niggas playing games, I keep that one stick, you know it's hard. All my booze in one spot like this, a haunted house. Baby got hella ass, I think she from the south. Shawty yapping, she the type to give a lot of mouth. Up, down, look at baby head bounce. Oxnard, California be the residence. West Coast, baby, niggas know I'm always reppin'. Niggas know I'm in the spot soon as I step in. Put off for my people, yelling big time for president. This a gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is a gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party. This is a gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is gangsta party. After party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party.
It's a gangsta party and the gangsta in here lacking. Shorty throw it back, you better quit with all that acting. Action, not little mama, we just buggy. Back in, counting my commas like I should be. Big moves, big chips and big plays. Of a thick bitch, hair done, pretty face. I'm old school, fly homie, never change. She like roll through. Who you with? I'm with the gang. Breadwinner, like I'm James P. Sullivan. I let it simmer, but this money gon' keep coming in. I'm in the function taking shots like it's medicine. It's that gangsta out the ox they keep mentioning. Feeling like I can't lose, like I'm supposed to win. Said that was my last run, here I go again. Ain't always up, remember back when I was 0-10. Chop them down like a cut, make a 40 blend.
This a gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is a gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party. This is gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party.
It's a gangsta party, bring that Hennessy. Player pippin' president, I'm calling from the embassy. How you showing love, but it really
be some jealousy. Take a couple shots at the Hennessy, know she messing me. One night stand, why the fuck you always message me? If you ain't get into it, why the fuck you standing next to me? Up late night, niggas thought like I be clerking. Bring that ass over, let me see what I could work with. Ass brand new, no make her, she looking perfect. Should I give a dick? I don't know if she deserve it. I like my bitches slim, thick, and real curvy. Yo, she got a man, oh no, don't hurt me. Come and get your bitch, cause she acting real flirty. At the gangsta party, yeah. Gangsta party, gangsta party, gangsta party, yeah. I bring the Hennessy.
Listen, gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is a gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party. This is gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party.
Gangsta party, ain't nobody else gon' do it better. I'm the weatherman, lil' mommy, you gon' need a sweater. Say she fucking with that nigga, man, I hit it better. Say she want a real nigga from the 19 letter. Real stepper, real joint, can't forget a killer. Say she grew up in the south, she probably know the gang. Say she let her way I speak and I ain't run the gang. A dark night, she comparing me to Bruce Wayne. And I ain't even gon' lie, I know she feeling me, but I'ma keep it Scotty fly like a pelican. Gangsta party, gangsta shawty, who got the Hennessy? Say she let her way I walk, bitch, you know I'm sagging. Fat daddy, what she call me, and I ain't even mad. Yeah, fat daddy, what she call me, and I ain't even mad.
Listen, gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is a gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party. This is gangsta party. I need a bad bitch, I need my gangsta party. This is gangsta party. Gangsta party, baby, this is gangsta party.
CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast. That's Big Time Bake, Big E, Hen Face, Mo Licks. That's good. Yo, can you hear that? Yo, it's it's ringing in the background. Yo, it has been a bell going nuts, like an alarm going nuts that the whole city can hear for like 30 minutes, yo. And it has me worried. I don't know what the fuck it means. And I'm not seeing any news flashes about it or anything. And everybody's just acting like it's fucking normal. So I don't know what to do, but it sounds crazy. And the whole city, no matter where you can go, can hear it. It's really wild. Anyways, I like that video, yo. I only have one note. Well, first of all, I didn't know that there was anybody black in Slump Boys. I had no idea. I'm assuming the dude with the afro was from Slump Boys, and I didn't know that there were any black Slump Boys. So that was news to me. And then my note is if you rapping about tings and beezies, if you rapping about gangster shorties, you need, yeah, exactly. Where are they? You need to have women in the video. It looked, I'm gonna be real, it looked like it was hard to focus on the song when I hear you talking about a lot of women and then I see nothing but dudes in the video. But I don't think that makes it a bad video at all. And I've made that mistake. I've done the similar thing when I put out videos too. When I'm, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. And also you just do what you can do. You know, I fully believe you probably, if there could have been, there would have been. There's probably all kinds of factors coming into play. So there, you know, it could have been a last minute video shoot. I don't know. But I will say, like, just keep that shit in mind for the future, because I think that could have just took it to a next level, especially because the first video, Gangsta Party, I think works so well because there are so many pretty girls in that video, you know what I'm saying? And like the environment is a party environment. Like you call the song Gangsta Party, and I mean, yo, if he's not, then that's my biggest note for the video is what the fuck if he's not. I am assuming that was a black man with an afro. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe anything else. You know? Like, if that was not a black man, Nah, bro. Nah, that guy had to be. Nah, he was a black man, bro. I don't think he might have been mixed. He might be mixed, but if that is not a black person, if that is not a black man, that's my biggest note in the video. Is there is no way in the Holy Father's green earth and the Holy Mother's black deep purple and pink space, nigga, that was allowed to happen. That was a black man. I'm saying it. I'm calling it. That was a black man. He is black. I'm sorry. Like there's no other option. There is no other option for that. No other option. I will not allow any other thing to be true. I'm sorry. Anyways, okay, let's not dwell on that. Because I wanted to get to this video, which I'm fucking with, yo. Like, can I say about this AMG, just this Batman and Superman album in general, what I love about it is like, I think y'all styles complement each other so well, but you're not doing the same thing. Like Mike has his very own distinct vibe, and Uno has his very own distinct vibe, but they complement each other so well. I really dig it. So let's get into this. This is a world premiere. The name Uno, Mike Valley, from the Batman versus Superman album. This is called AMG World Premiere. CTC Radio, the only radio station.
Yeah, shit, this that AMG ass money game, we finna sell a key. Betty on my lap, I got like 10 of these. Got a dark skin bitch, she poppin' shit just like she Annalise. Got another blonde just on my team, she could've been in Greece. Light skin look like Penny, yeah, she proud, she a proud fiend. Latina so thick, I fuck one time and then I fell asleep. Circle so small, the dream team, we got like 10 rings. Shooters always shoot, I shoot at hoes just like I'm Katie. Caught me another bitch, she give me in just like Medusa. I'm gonna lose a Betty, yeah, we call that shit papoose. I'm walking in the club, shout out Dirt, I got my tool in. I walk up in that fire, yeah, I swear we ain't losing. Me and Philly pushing rocks, we sell the fiends.
Trap guy, what up?
I'm telling Bam to roll a camera, it's a scene. A Godfather, I'm talking nigga, can't in your dreams. I'm Freddy Krueger, nightmare, the only thing. I'm double cup, I'm walking shawty, I'm off the lean. Yeah, and baby, this just 7, baby, this the team.
In this bitch, very sick like the roof. One cuz crib, one cuz big boot. Made a couple plays, now my pocket's big boot. Heard he got mad cause the bitch been true. Here's another hit, yeah, it's business as usual. I thought I grew a little, but I'm talking like I used to. Bitch that I'm with, yeah, shawty looking crucial. A brother in the red like Oklahoma soon. If niggas was the rent, they leave Oklahoma soon. The gas that I smoke make me think I see the future. I turn that bitch down so she started spraying rooms. We could go into it, I don't wanna go into it, no. All my niggas crazy, baby, hate to burst your bubble. But young and keep the laser in a Hershey just for trouble. Them perks kick my ass and I only took a couple. Don't pick up a gun if you don't wanna use a shovel. Gang was on the run, you ain't running with a savage. Say she want a ton, call the flight to change the weather. When I flip the switch, gang, I'm about to change the meta. Saying she in love, can't nobody do it better. Nah. Saying she in love, can't nobody do it better.
CTC Radio, the only radio station.
Can't nobody do it better.
The only radio station committed to the coast. That's brand new music. Mike Valley, the name Uno, AMG. Video going hard, song going hard. That nigga said, don't pick up a gun if you don't want to use a shovel. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I was just about to say, my nigga, I watched it on my phone a couple times. I just watched it on the big screen. I just peeped the cowboy boots. You a fool for that. That shit was big swag though. I seen when you was doing the dig, I was like, this nigga got pointy toes. That's crazy. That shit look hard though. That video is so clean. I love it. Fucking add that to your live. Is that yeah, of course. It's available on all it's available. Wait, is it still secret mode or is it available on streaming services now? And either way, sub on YouTube. Go hit the like button on YouTube. Okay. We're getting confirmation. It's available on all streaming services. Make sure you go add that. It's everywhere. Yeah, man, that's just going crazy. Going crazy. This is another good opportunity to test out the internet. Let's get into this Lil Yachty conversation, man. So for those that don't know, Lil Yachty has been kind of getting dragged on the net because he keeps losing friends, and people are saying that, you know, he's not a good friend, which is a crazy conversation. I never thought we'd get to the era where we're talking about if artists are good friends or not. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's wild. I don't care about that per se, but this conversation struck a chord with me because I think I have a little bit different perspective than everybody. And I hear where everyone is coming from, and I'll explain, but I definitely want to give my 2 cents about it. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, actually, let me see if we can find a video that gives an overview better than me. Ooh, and Caribou responded. Shit. Cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to find one that's short because they're all like they're all a little long. But basically, Little Yachty has a podcast with a dude named Mitch, and he had a group called Concrete Boys, and in the group was I actually was a fan of hers. As far as like what I've heard, I liked her bars. I didn't mean to skip over that either. Empty music video shoot tomorrow, 7 Records is saying. So I'm assuming that's down south, the Ventura area. Trap guy, pull up. But yeah, he has a group called Concrete Boys. In the group is a female artist named Caribou, and I just like her voice and her delivery, so I thought she was cool. But I had a feeling that he was writing her bars because it just felt very Lil Yachty-ish to me. But everybody thought she was writing her own bars, which was, I don't know why. It wasn't giving that. But anyways, she sounded really good and she was dope. She is dope. She didn't die or anything like that. But her and Yachty had a falling out a little while ago, and nobody knew why. And so Yachty came out and basically said, you know, he confirmed it. He said Caribou and Concrete Boys have parted ways. And that's all I have to say about it. He said, I have nothing bad to say about her. I'm gonna leave it there, but she's doing her own thing now, and we're not affiliated anymore. And everybody was kind of speculating, like, what's going on? Like, she was the dopest one in the group. Like, what could have happened? And then on Yachty's podcast the other day, I forget who the guest was, but Yachty and Mitch host this podcast together. And on the podcast, they were talking about something, and Yachty basically insinuated that Mitch would be nothing without him. And I actually let me actually Key Glock, thank you. Trap guys, y'all got it. Key Glock, thank you so much. But so Yachty and Yachty and Mitch had Key Glock on the podcast the other day, and they were talking about basically getting on the straight and narrow path, basically. Like, so Mitch told the audience, like, Key Glock said, yo, this is what happened. Sorry, I'm thinking about a couple things at once, but this is what happened. Key Glock said that, yo, get it however you can, even if you gotta rob people. And I'm paraphrasing. He said, even if you gotta rob people, get it however you can. Just don't live off of another man. And so Mitch stepped in and was like, yo, let's like course correct and say, don't get it however you can. Like, don't rob somebody. Get it in a righteous way. Get it honestly. Don't rob people. Don't kill people. But get it however you can, it within those two rules. And then Yachty stepped in and was like, yo, how can you say that when you have a me because you didn't want to get a job. You didn't get it in a righteous way. Like I put you on. And so it's easy for you to say that when you have a me, but most people in the world don't have a me. And I get that. And I get where Yachty's coming from because Yachty has way more background into like how Mitch was before the world got to know Mitch. But I think Wayno said it best. Wayno said that this was a conversation that should have never been had in public. And I'll add to that and say that if it was being had in public, then they should have discussed first how that was going to occur, because if you don't understand what Yachty is trying to say, then he does sound crazy. And I feel like a lot of the audience that's criticizing him doesn't understand what he's trying to say. And so when that happened, Caribou retweeted herself. She posted a tweet a long time ago that said, said something like, I'm not going to say anything. Everything will reveal itself. And then she retweeted that and said, this aged well. And so when she tweeted that, Yachty went live and went off. And so I'm going to show you the part where Yachty goes live and goes off. And then I'm going to tell you what I think about what he said, because he is getting cooked. Everybody's saying that he's spazzing. Everybody's saying that he's crashing out. Crash out coming soon. But I feel like I have a little bit of a different perspective. So let me play you what Lil Yachty said, and then we'll talk about it.
I would even know what Caribou was if it wasn't for me. What the f are we talking about, bro? I wrote that verse when we went on the radar.
Off the dust, with that sack under my arm, sacking up a must. I crushed the fucking.
So y'all remember that video that I made not too long ago about Caribou leaving the Concrete Boys or supposedly being kicked? All right, and over time it hasn't been that much.
I'm gonna just fast forward to the live.
Rated teen.
No, not the ads. I'm gonna just fast forward to the live part though.
And you, bro, go ahead and tell people how you talk to people.
Ooh.
How you tell my security guard, oh, you home? Oh, you work for me. Oh, we are
security guard. What?
You ain't got no. You're poor, and we above you. And how you talk to people like they nothing. You talk to people like they small, like they beneath you. Bro, hold on. Tell people how you verbally use people. How you told me you gonna me when you see me. Tell you what? Talk to people, bro.
She was gonna what?
Your brain is clinically immense, bro. How you disrespect people. How you go around.
She says she gonna spit on him. He's alleging that she said she's gonna spit on him, not shit on him. I just want to be clear about that.
Treating people in your everyday life. I've been letting you do this whole thing where you act like you like a princess and you sweet and you know like, oh, you just such a good girl. Bro, stop the front, bro. Internally, we have withheld your actions since the beginning of me giving you this career.
So he basically saying ever since Caribou started, she always been hostile in front of others, okay?
What are we talking about, bro? What the even talking about, bro? You don't even do nothing. What the Yo,
that part when he said, because honestly, the first part, I don't care about, honestly. Like, I prefer that she be nice to people, but I feel like that's just not relevant to the conversation. But when he turns up right here, this is the part right here that that resonates with me, and I'll tell you why after.
Oh,
no, he mad.
It's so crazy to me, bro, because I've given you a career, and time to time you just disrespect me. I wrote every verse you've done. I dressed you. I dressed all 5 of y'all, bro.
Oh my God.
I dressed 5 every time we stepped out the house. I put an outfit on everybody. I put 8-carat earrings in everybody's ear.
Okay, I don't know if this is just him having an ego or let him chat though. Let him chat.
Put 3 chains on all y'all neck. We bought a Cartier watch. I gave you that chrome Rolex, bro. You the most. You was watching tables. You was waiting. What are we talking about? I changed your motherfucking life, and you on here lying, talking about some we you. That got me up, bro. You got me up, bro. You disrespectful, bro. You talk to people crazy. You tell people that they are nothing. You tell people you gonna spit on them. You tell people they poor, and you talk to my label crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, making fun of people that's poor or who ain't got it like that, that's lame, bro. That ain't cool. Hopefully what Lil Yachty's saying isn't true, because that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
You claim I was stealing money from you? Bro, stealing money from you how? Stealing money from you how, bro? You ain't made no money, bro. See, this is the problem with you new artists. Y'all get popping online, and then you become more popular than your actual music, right? You $900,000 in a hole, and I got every receipt. $900,000 concrete in a hole. I got every receipt. I'ma post it. I dare you. Try me. I'ma post it, and I post how much money your streams are made. You got, bro. Stop. Don't go on the internet and act like I'm you, bro. I've been nothing but loving and caring and paid your bills and gave you money and took you around the world, and nobody would even know who Caribou was if it wasn't for me. What the are we talking about, bro? I wrote that verse when we went on the radar.
So he did write the verse. I knew I wasn't tripping. I don't think he'll be lying about that.
Purpose. So everyone would say, who the that girl? I slowed the beat down. I put 808 specifically on your verse.
Wow.
So when it got to your part and the beat dropped, everyone would be like, oh, the girl is the craziest one.
Damn.
I wrote that verse the night before we even went on the radar. On my phone. Bro, I got the voice, I got reference. What the we talking about? You ain't never wrote no a song in your life.
The reference is crazy.
That's why ain't no music came out since you've been left, because you ain't got no music. You can't rap.
Yeah. Okay. Look, so that's like the Seven Records said he sound like a true Virgo. I'm dead. Trap Guy said tricking. So look, that's not tricking, that's business. Well, I guess it depends on what your business is, because tricking can be business too, but that's business, right? So this is how I feel about it. I think that we in hip hop we haven't adapted to optics very well. And I think that optics is basically the truth without context. And so optics is just what you see, just what you can see with the little information you have without context. And the optics of what Lil Yachty is doing looks bad, and that's why the fans are reacting that way. But I've been hearing that what he's saying about Caribou is actually true. Like she does have behavioral issues, and she has done some things that have ruffled some feathers. I've heard that myself. So I know that he may be coming from a real place, but because he's fighting two battles, one against what he said against Mitch and one with Caribou, now the optics seem like he's the problem, because two people in a very short span of time from two different ventures of his are having problems. And I do think the thing with Mitch, it is his fault. He could have definitely let that go. He didn't have to take it there. But I feel like something happened. This is how I see the situation with Mitch, and then I'll tell you the situation with Caribou. The way that Yachty felt so compelled to talk about what he was talking about with Mitch, I feel like there's a history there that we just do not know about, right? Like, it's giving, if you ever watched like Atlanta, and everybody around Paperboy kind of wanted to be put on, and Paperboy's attitude was kind of like, yo, if I'm out here getting it, you got to go get it. And it feels like Yachty was kind of like that for Mitch, and but he cared too much about him, so he just put him on. You know what I'm saying? But like, it sounds like there was like years and years and years, like 10, 15 years of just not doing anything. And finally Yachty was like, you know what? Fuck it. I got you. Because Yachty just was not letting that one slide. Like, he was not letting it slide. He was like, what have you done? What have you done for you to tell people to get on the righteous path when you didn't get on the righteous path. You got on my path that I put you on, and that and Yachty just, he would not let that go. So I think that I think he had to get that off his chest. So there's context there we don't have. I can definitely speak on so yeah, it's a bad look, but I don't necessarily think that Yachty is wrong, and I would love more context, but I'm sure it's very personal, so we'll probably never get that. In the Caribou situation, that one hit me a little harder because for those of you that don't know my background, like I'm a ghostwriter myself. I've been a ghostwriter for a long time. I've written some songs for some of your favorite artists. I've written verses and little pieces and lyrics and things for your favorites artists, for some of the biggest artists, and some of the smallest artists. I've created artists out of nothing who, the same way Yachty just said, you know, they don't rap and they haven't released music because they stopped working with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so because I don't work with them anymore and I wrote everything they ever did, they don't put out music anymore. There's multiple artists that I've done this for and can name. And so when I hear Yachty talk about this, I know from experience that even though the optics are bad and maybe this shouldn't come out, and I'll even take the bad behavior off the table, right? Like I'm saying, I don't think Caribou's bad behavior is relevant to the public, but I will say, like, if you create an artist from scratch and you write everything for them, and then their music becomes bigger than them, there is something that happens almost every time where that artist starts to believe their own hype. They start to drink their own Kool-Aid. They start to eat their own crumbs off the table. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and it's really disappointing as the exec, because when you create an artist, you're like the executive producer. So when the artist then believes that they can do all of this without you, but they've never done it on their own before, it gets to a point where you have to let it go. And that's just the nature of the business. But I've never spent $900,000 of my own money on an artist. So I could see that's why he exploded. That's why he was like, yo, what the fuck are we even talking about here? Like, I wrote everything. And then he played the reference. And I'm not gonna lie, like, her On the Radar freestyle is one of my favorite verses of this year. I'm not even gonna, I thought that shit was fire. And the fact that Yachty wrote that, just to me, we were just talking about, you know, his I think he's GOAT status, and that's another feather in that cap. I think that proves that Yachty is at this point GOAT status. He's stood the test of time. He's more relevant than he was in the past. And he's, you know, out here being very, very, very creative. Concrete Boys was one of the dopest groups this year. I think his album with James Blake was interesting. So he's been doing all the shit he's been doing with Drake. Maybe bad timing, but still really good creative work. So yeah, no, he's doing his thing. But I fully understand his frustration. And I think that regardless of how bad the optics are, you have to understand that, like, the optics are not the whole story. And so the fans that are criticizing him and saying, like, oh, you know, he's a bad friend, this and this and that, I think should give him a little grace, considering you don't know him at all. He's never been a friend to you, so you can't really say whether or not he's a good friend. But if you just look at the facts, where it's like, he did spend all this money on her. It was a record deal. It wasn't the friendship had nothing to do with the business side of it. Yo, what's good? Prominent Ones is in the chat and says it's up. Thank you for joining. Please share the stream if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the business side of it. For you to then go out and say that you got bullied when really your life got changed is offensive. it's offensive, yo. And I haven't had anyone that I've worked with go out and say I bullied them after I put them on, but I did have people go out there and say like I didn't do anything for them after I put them on. I've had people who I created entirely. I gave them their name, every song they ever wrote. I wrote every single lyric, every single letter, and every single word of every single lyric I wrote. I made their beats. I gave them their image. Anybody that's in the music industry that they know they met through me, but then they go off and like try to get signed to those people that they know only because of me. I had someone who I put on who we did really big things, and I literally created her. I introduced her to a bunch of people in the music industry, and then she went on to give those people a bunch of money and like made them rich, and she only knew them because of me. And they only knew her because of the music that I wrote for her. So I've had that happen on multiple occasions to where like I have a really, really good insight into what Yachty is talking about. So I know that shit hurts, bro. And when you get slighted, I think it's okay to be like, yo, I think it's okay to be offended when somebody offends you. Like this whole thing where you got to be calm every time you got to be calm no matter what, whenever somebody does something fucked up. Like, I don't understand that behavior, like that internet culture shit where like somebody can do something fucked up to you and you just got to be cool about it. And if you lose your cool, then you're the one that's the problem. Like, that's not how the world works. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's crazy behavior that we encourage and that we like allow. I don't understand that shit. So let me know what you think. Prominent One says you can do all you can, man. That's it. Yeah, that's all you can do. You can't control everything, and you can only manage the things that you can control. So but I ain't gonna lie, for a long time I was super bitter about those things. And it was hard to let it go. But yeah, now like you just get into, like, anytime I get into those situations, I get into it knowing that like this is a possibility, this could happen. I'm not working with them for any other reason than I think they're talented, and if it works, cool. If it doesn't, then it doesn't work. That's the only way that's the only mentality you can have to survive a situation like that. But cool. Yeah, fucking I didn't expect to talk about that long. Let me know what you think in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, let me know what you think in the comments. If you hopped in the middle of the conversation, it's all good. You can catch this full episode on the rest of our channels. Probably starting on Monday, I'll start running reruns. If there's anything you want to hear, let me know. We got a couple more minutes, so I'm gonna play a few more songs. It's just $5, Cash App or Venmo. Our Cash App's Connect the Coast. Our Venmo is Connect the Coast 2021. Make sure you put the name of the song and the name of the artist in the memo, so I play the right thing. Again, shout out to our sponsors, Connect Cannabis. You can order from Connect Cannabis by tapping the link in our Instagram bio. We only deliver to San Luis Obispo County and Kern County, but if you order from the express menu, you can get your order within an hour. We deliver until 9 p.m. So get yourself some flour or vape or edibles or pre-rolls or tinctures. We got you. As long as you're in Slow County or Kern County, you can get it in until 9 p.m. And then we are giving away a MetaQuest 3 and a Nintendo Switch 2. You can tap the link in our Instagram bio or the link in the description of this video to enter the giveaway. It's free to enter. All you have to do is complete tasks to earn points, and then you win. And then the more points you earn, the more chances you have to win. Cool. Let's get into some music. This is Luxury, the Trap God. It's called Fetty. He's out of Santa Maria, California. CTC Radio.
I'm feeling like the one. Diamond shining like I caught the sun. Chasing chicken like I'm on a run. Bring me 2050s and a
My phone start ringing, me my trap is ready. Trap is ready. Dashing through the traffic like Marin's ready. It's ready. I came to put the sauce on the spaghetti. I'm tripping. Look at your nigga, is he on Fetty? Is he on Fetty? Ride around with a senorita, strapped in her purse like Madea. I got the Sinead, she got the Laquita. Rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, Vita. Ran up on a bitch like a cheetah, like a cheetah. So fast. Is you hot and ready, Little Caesar? Little Caesar? She looking for a nigga just to please her, just to please her. Take her down the figure, then I leave her. She's down there following instructions. She's down there following instructions. High heels on, she'll show you how to function. High heels on, she'll show you how to function.
Corner Store, what's good? You want to come on? Let me know. Hit me in the 805 Media Day chat, and we'll set it up.
I'm feeling like the one. Diamond shining like I caught the sun. Chasing chicken like I'm on a run. Bring me 20/50s in the
My phone start ringing me, my trap is ready. Trap is ready. Dashing through the traffic like Mar Andretti. It's ready. I came to put the sauce on the spaghetti. I'm tripping. Look at your nigga. Is he on Fetty?
CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast of luxury. The Trap God out of Santa Maria, California is called Fetty. Add it to your libraries, add it to your playlist, and let them know where you heard it first.
Boy T Shahid, and y'all are watching my new video, Something New, on CTC Radio. Let's get it, yeah.
Corner Store, we only play 805 music on here, though. Everybody got to be from the 805. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Shahid, come on.
Sounds so explicit. OTM, y'all. Just bounce with us, rock with us, rock.
Or not from the 805, but they got to live in the 805 or like have something to do with the 805.
With us, rock with us, roll with us. TCE, come on.
Trying something new with you, baby. Oh, yeah. And I don't want to have no rules with you, baby. No. I ain't trying to flex on you, nah. But I want you to myself, baby, I know. Cause we gon' get it on. Yeah. And some may call me selfish, but you the one I see myself with. So we gon' step out tonight. We gonna get it all night. And we gon' rock when we rockin'. And we ain't gon' stop, ain't no stoppin'. Let's party all night long. I'ma try something new with you, baby. Yeah. And I don't wanna have no rules with you, baby. No. I ain't tryna flex on you, no. But I want you to myself, baby, I know. Yes, we gon' get it on. So come and take a ride with me, baby. Oh, yeah. Drop top of the coast with your lady. No. I just wanna set the scene for you, I know. That you ain't never had it like this before. Cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And some may call me selfish, but you the one I see myself with. So we gon' step out tonight. We gonna get it all night. And we gon' rock when we rockin'. And we ain't gon' stop, ain't no stoppin'. Let's party all night long. I'ma try something new with you, baby. Oh, yeah. And I don't wanna have no rules with you, baby. No. I ain't tryna flex on you, no. But I want you to myself, baby, I know. Cause we gon' get it on.
Break it down.
Try something new. What do you have to lose? This feeling is oh so right. Just take that chance on me tonight. With me, you can't go wrong. I'ma try I know, 'cause we gon' get it on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ooh. Try.
This video was directed by familiar strangers.
What up, girl? What up, girl? I see you. I see you. Listen, listen. Come on. You got what I want, girl. You're just my type. You're everything I like. I think I'm in love. Put that body on me. Oh, it feels so right. We could go all night. I think I'm in love. Looking in your eyes, I can see you from across the room. I won't be surprised if you got a man, but I don't assume. This is your moment. Have some fun. We on the run. The life of life's the only one. We can do anything we want. I'll get the drinks, you bring the bun. Party until we see the sun. This is your moment. Have some fun. We can do anything we want. You got what I want, girl. You're just my type. You're everything I like. I think I'm in love. Put that body on me. Oh, it feels so right. We could go all night. I think I'm in love. Could it be that one who I can give my devotion to? I can hold you down. Stand by your side if you need me to. You got what I want, girl. You're just my type. You're everything I like. I think I'm in love. Put that body on me. Oh, it feels so right. We can go all night.
Baby, two-step to the moonlight, it feel right. It seem like lately you the only thing on my mind, girl. When I'm with you, we fit like a puzzle. Your friends say I'm trouble, like a dog without a muzzle. Yeah, this what love must feel like. I think about you in my dreams, and I need you on my team. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I don't know nothing else, but I know she the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 2020 plus one more, you dig? Hey, go.
Bring that body to me.
Yeah, I think I'm in love.
Hey, where your friends at? Pull up to the club with the homies and we only got one question, though.
Yo, CTC Radio, the only radio station committed to the coast. Thank y'all so much for tuning in on a Saturday. I apologize for yesterday, yo. The update took way longer than I thought it would. But thank you for coming in and hanging it out with me on a Saturday. I really do appreciate that. I will be back on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Same CTC time, same CTC channel. Pull up. Definitely tap the link in our Instagram bio. Visit our shop. Get yourself some CTC apparel. That is a great way to support the stream, support our channel. Also, Connect Cannabis is a great way to support our stream. And yeah, that's it, y'all. I'm not gonna be late. I'm out of here. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. All that shit.
You cooking with me, yeah. Shoot to the city. We was cooking with me. Cooking with me, yeah. I don't wanna feel no more. I've been on pills since we made go, yeah. I was with Bill and Bo. Zebo said to kill him slow, yeah. I've been getting way too geeky. I've been way too geeky, yeah. Baby, I can't sleep. Give me your head, help me sleep, yeah. She wanna hit the beat.
beach. I wanna sell them hits to fiends, yeah. Philly was moving keys, now I can move them to the keys, yeah. She wanna split a bean, I don't do Dutch, we don't split beans, yeah. Why I can't get no walk, a sign from God, I need to stop. Why I ain't got no ops, from just last year I had some ops, yeah. Heard that boy sneak dissing, heard that he got 7 records. Valley could do rock, but Valley rather move them rocks, yeah. Cause oh, you ain't missing, cause oh, I was hot, yeah. Boy, be careful talking, I don't say be careful often, yeah.
Let's do it. I don't want to leave you hanging. I just want to say let's do it, yo. I appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
I put money on your head, they take money off it, yeah. Ain't no rest, we gon' hose you down. I had to stock AP and raise my stocks and then went froze to that. We put them on channel 3, we put them on T's, you know what my bros about. I know where the reaper sleeps and he know me, you know what my bros about. Cause we shoot from deep.
Yeah, quiz. Hey, real quick though, I'm here to let you know, every Thursday at 9 a.m. you can catch reruns of the Real Quick Though podcast on CTC Radio.
And like, what is some advice you would give to guys who may be listening to this, who encounter that about what not to do? Because I'm sure you've got some sizable red line items on that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like one, don't make assumptions immediately. Ask questions, but not in kind of like a weird way either. You know, like if you want to just take a girl on a date or whatever, be upfront. And getting in, I actually really hate it when someone like gets in my messages and they're immediately like, how's it going, beautiful? Or like something like that. I'm like, no, just like have a normal conversation. Just have a normal conversation. Please, you know? I always hate the, oh, you didn't respond to me. So then they just are like, what, you don't answer? Or like, why get offended? Don't get offended about little things. You know, like just, it's fine. If something blossoms, let it blossom. Not with me though, because I'm kind of mean. So
Here are good advice for everybody else. Not me though. I'm a dick. You know.
yeah. I'm a dick. I have too many guy friends, I think. They treat me like a guy. Like, I'm a dick.
So, you know, I think one of the things that people probably don't understand, and it's really interesting because my mom is a former therapist. She grew up in the 60s. She was like I think like a freedom rider in Mississippi, like crazy liberal, you know, and she really just has a lot of issues around pornography. She feels it's exploitive. And, you know, I try to explain to her too that like, I just don't think a lot of people understand how lonely a lot of people are and how isolated they are in their own heads. And I guess my sort of question that comes out of that is, have you ever had an experience where you're like, this fundamentally helped someone be in a better place than they were than before they saw it? Like, have you had those conversations?
Yeah, so actually I have. On my page, I'll even do like toy reviews also.
Mhm.
Like, look at this toy. This is my review on it, you know, and I'll just sit there and I'll talk about it and just tell them like experience on it and open the conversation up to, have you ever wanted to try this? Have you tried it? Things like that, which then opens up, like, I'll be like, DM me or comment. It's cool. So I've had people, comment on it or just get in my DMs, and it helps them feel comfortable because I'm asking them like to talk to me about things. I've had people come in my messages and say, hey, you know, my partner and I thought about trying this and now we did, you know, or have you ever experienced this? I'm trying to talk to my partner about it, or I want to try it for myself. And like, what do you think? And even if I haven't, you know, they have a safe place to talk about something. We may not have ever met, but they have that safe place where they know, like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, that's weird, you know, like, don't do that. I'll be like, oh, just tell me more. Or, yeah, this is this and that, you know.
It's I would imagine it's pretty rare that you would go, ew, nope, no thank you. You know, like that's not something that you're going to say.
Oh my God, no, the one thing I say ill to, and I hate that it's like a freaking meme and everything right now, is spit. It's so gross to me. Spit is disgusting. And now we have, I'm not going to say it, but we have the trend going on right now, and it's just like terrible.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, because I would imagine those things go in cycles, right? Like any other type of fashionable or unfashionable behavior where it just kind of circles around. And so like, yeah, it may go away in the next, I don't know, like 2 months, and then it will be back in a year and you're gonna have to deal with it again. I imagine that's probably the case.
God, I hope not. I really hope not.
So curiosity, how does this impact your dating life, or does it, right? Because I imagine there are guys that, think they're cool with it and then find out they're not and then try to control you or what you're doing with it. Or if there are women that do the same thing, I don't know. But like, how does
Yeah.
it impact your dating life?
It's really weird. I already don't like to date, and this makes me dislike it even more. But yeah, so my favorite is now people are like, oh, let me take you out and this and this and that. And then they're like, oh, and we can make a movie together. And I'm like, wow, no, that's not how that works. Cool. What? Okay. Is that a pickup line? Because I don't like that. Get that out of here.
It turns out they're actually like a Hollywood director and they actually just wanted to make a movie with you. They were like, you almost got cast in Quentin Tarantino's next movie. You just didn't know,
If that was the case, I would still second guess them. I'd be like, me? An actress? What comedy is this now? Like, what am I taking over for, like, what's the Plaza girl? Aubrey Plaza? Like, what's happening here? Like, what's going on?
So, okay, that's super interesting. And so are relationships important to you at this point in your life? 'Cause that's the other thing too, that like, I think guys just don't understand about women. Like a lot of guys need a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I have met women that are just fine on their own. They do not need you and they let you know they don't need you.
That is me. I am a fiercely strong and independent woman, sometimes annoyingly so, like when I'm trying to get rid of a king size mattress and it is 4 times bigger than me. And then I end up still calling up Jedi Junk Removal because it's a nerdy name and ask them to please come take this for me after like a month of it sitting in my living room. But yeah, that's me. I'm the person who I don't need anyone. I pay my bills. I like to stay home too. I do quiet activities in my home is what I like to say. I don't like going to big, huge crowds and stuff. I'll be on the outside. If you see me at like an event or something, I'm most likely on the outside of it or in some tucked away corner. Okay. So I'm not the girl who wants to like go out and like, unless there's food. If there's food, I'm probably okay. You can get me there. If there's
Tacos
no
and
food,
anything.
I'm
I'll
not gonna-
show up for the tacos,
I'll leave after I eat. I'll take a plate. I'll put in my backpack too. Like we're good. But I'm just very, yeah, I don't feel like I need anyone. Also, I don't want someone to tell me how to decorate my place, so no one's allowed to move in. Yeah, and that is hard for a lot of people to understand, especially like, oh, I try to hit you up or we never hang out or this and that. Yeah, because I have my own life, my own schedule, my own things to do, I like to go to bed early. I don't know what to tell you.
We call that old people bedtime in my house. And I was not like, I was someone that would go to sleep at midnight and get up at 6 a.m. before I met my wife. And then I found about the pleasures of old people bedtime. My wife is 5 or 6 years younger than me. And the like third or fourth time we hung out at her house, she was like, I'm really tired. I'm going to bed at like 7:30. And I was like, what?
Beautiful.
She's like, yeah, I'm going to bed at 7:30. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like out in the living room still doing stuff. And then like 9 o'clock rolled around and I was like, okay, I'll try this out. And now, dude, I will try and make dinner by 6 o'clock. So that a lot of days I'll be like, we got to be in bed by like no later than 8 because I can't hack it today.
Yeah, I'm exhausted by like 10. If it's 10 o'clock, I'm dead. I'm exhausted. Just, no, it's too late for me. Even if I'm out, oh God, I don't like going to parties. I don't like doing anything like that. And I won't necessarily say bye when I leave somewhere. I just
Just
leave.
disappear. Just
Yeah, I'll just be like, or just middle of a conversation, just, all right, I'm done here. And I just go because I'm tired. I want to go home and watch Golden Girls and just go to bed.
Yeah, I, by the way, cannot wait to have Phyllis Driller on my show because that is one of the most clever handles ever. And like, I'm not sure he knows who Phyllis Diller is because I'm not sure he's a big Golden Girls fan. So I can't wait to have him on the show. But circling back, I asked you what the worst book you ever read. What's the best book you ever read?
So
Top 5 if you can't choose one, that's fine.
my all-time favorite and my biggest recommendation when it comes to a book is actually Johnny Got His Gun.
Okay.
By Dalton Trombone. Yeah, that's the one. Hands down. Always recommend it to anyone who's a reader. And it's one of my favorites because it's written so well and it hits you psychologically and emotionally. But it's not like a horror book. It's actually a war book. It is set in the time of war. And it's first person. You are the person who this book is about, and
Do you know which war it's about?
Vietnam, if I remember right. One of those ones. And you are him and going through everything with him. And so like when he realizes something, you're realizing it too. And it was written so wonderfully. And I have recommended it to so many people. I'll give a copy if I ever have one. I'm like, oh, here, take a copy of it. And I'm not a crier, but I will say I have had many people tell me that they want to cry. There's a Christmas scene specifically where it's like, I want to cry at the Christmas scene. It's like, I understand that. I get it.
So what I get from a lot of what you're saying, this will be a weird segue. Don't worry, that's what I do. But you were an emo kid growing up.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, so I am trying my college level best. Not that I actually failed out of college twice, but I'm doing my college level best to slowly convert Sanctus into like a metalcore emo fan, right? Because he's got the same opinion I think we all do, which is good music is good music, doesn't matter who's making it, and bad music is definitely bad music, no matter who's making it. And I'll be like, man, the lyrics in this song are crazy, and I'll send him like Bad Omens or like Bring Me the Horizon. How did you get into emo music, and what about it appealed to you specifically?
You know what? I feel like, everybody has different opinions of emo, different generations of emo, but it was definitely a really popular thing when I was choosing my own music, like especially what was on the radio and what was readily available. Was a big one. I know, like Fall Out Boy was a big one. Some people are like, oh, that's emo. Some people are like, oh, it's a little more like pop kind of. But the thing is, they're also like, what's it? My Chem. Everyone, MCR, My Chemical Romance.
I wore the shirt for you today, just in case we ended up talking about this.
And it's like, honestly, Gerard Way, like he has like he's also a fucking nerd too. It's always
great comic book writer.
Yes, he's a huge nerd. So just always the nerds, right? The lyrics were great. The music itself, like, so catchy, but there is some like heavier parts. I don't know, it's some of it is just so well put together, Also the visuals, freaking cool too. Like, leave it to the emos to be like, let's do this weird thing, but also cool thing. And you're like,
we're gonna do a ballet dance, a choreographed musical, but we're gonna do it in a church, and it's gonna be with a girl who's dressed like a dead body. All right, and roll.
Perfect. Yeah.
So when you think back on that time, because it's so interesting to me how much that music has come back into sort of the mainstream, right? Which is like, you have When We Were Young Festival now, which I went to for the first time last year. And I have to say that I got to see a band that I have never gotten to see, which was The Offspring. And they killed it. They looked great, they sounded great, and they were super funny. And I also got to see 30 Seconds to Mars, which was exactly as weird as you would imagine it is. Space Jesus was in attendance. But it's super popular right now. What do you think it is about right now that makes those themes resonate with people that are much younger than us, that we're not even there for those conversations in some cases?
All the 10, 15, 20-year albums are out now. Not to age everybody who recognizes these names of things, but I was
that's
in
the end of this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
in Target, the vinyl for Evanescence was
Mhm.
out, and I was like, that's the album I grew up with. And there they are, making it into this really cool looking new vinyl that's like a special edition. So it is reappealing. There's also, I will say, okay, so I like hip hop, I like rap, but I also like, I don't know how to like describe it, like like people say Suicide Boys, right? So that's one of the more popular,
Mhm.
right? That kind of rap is what I like. It's emo rap.
Yeah.
It's emo pop. You know, like that is really popular right now too. And so the sound is so similar. I say this all the time. If you put it in a Venn diagram, sad and emotions are right in the middle.
I always laugh. One, do you ever watch Punk Rock MBA with Finn McKenty?
No.
That is a YouTube channel you should check out. So he's a dude that I don't like know him personally, but tangentially growing up in LA, like I know people who know him, and he's been around like hardcore music for forever, right? And he has this channel now that just does deep cultural, like college level discourse about punk, hardcore, emo music. And it's really, really interesting stuff. And he comes up with stuff that like I didn't even know. And I'm kind of like a history nerd. And so he's really into that. But I guess my other question too is, is it that people are just fundamentally more depressed now because we know more? Like I heard Tom DeLonge said this thing at one of his concerts. He said, "Remember when the only thing we had to deal with was divorce?"
Yeah, that's a thing.
So do you think people are just fundamentally more depressed now?
Hey, maybe that's possible. And there's so much access to everything that maybe they're more depressed, or maybe they're like, hey, this is some pretty cool shit. I don't know. That one's hard to say.
What's so interesting to me too is like you were talking about Suicide Boys. Like gym class heroes must be somewhere just going, fuck, if we were just like 10 years later, we would have made so much money. Travis, I mean, not that Travis is probably like hurting for money by any means, but like I'm sure he's got to be like, dude, you're just 10 years too soon, because gym class heroes is Suicide Boys before there were Suicide Boys.
There are so many, there were bands I seriously disliked. Like, I didn't like Blink-182 or Good Charlotte. But
I agree with you on that until I saw Good Charlotte live last year, and I was like, wow, for a band that hasn't played together in like 10 years, these guys sound phenomenal. And they're just clearly fans of the music too.
Yeah, and some people, it's like, I'll give it to them. Some people, performers. Like, I don't like Lady Gaga, but hey, if you go to a show, you are going to a show. Like, I don't really like to go to shows because I don't want to pay for what I can hear, elsewhere. And I don't want the crowds. I saw Odessa, actually, like, weeks ago. I wasn't in the crowd, though. I was up in the seats, up in the stadium, watching the whole thing. And that was a show. Whole thing, a production. And I'm like, that's what you want to see. So
I had very mixed feelings about Blink-182 because I grew up, I was a little older when emo came around. I think I was like 21, 22 at that point, and it hit me at just the right moment in my life for it to be resonant with me. But I was a Green Day fan growing up. I actually snuck out of my mom's house, and I only told her this last year, but I snuck out of our house in Studio City and walked over Laurel Canyon to see Green Day play at the Whiskey. And I only told my mom last year, and she's still mad about it. She's like, "You could have gotten killed. Like that is one of the most like you were just walking on Mulholland. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm just like, "It was 30 years ago. Like, what do you want?" But I had a feeling that they were just sort of like this bootleg version of Green Day. And I'm curious, have you listened to any of their later albums? Their really like most recent stuff, the stuff when they got what's his name from Alkaline Trio to sing for them.
I mean, I liked Alkaline Trio. They were good. They're pretty good. Green Day, I was never a fan of when they became more popular. Their like original like first albums, I did like more. But then later I was just like, I don't know, I just like wasn't feeling it as much. There's something about before they went, I'm gonna be the person who says before they went like mainstream. But they did change their sound a little bit. You know, a lot of emo does have like that pop feel to it, which is why what was it, Punk Goes Pop was so easy to like listen to, right? So I think it's natural to shift with the times, you know. You hear something and you're like, wait, that's cool, let's try that out also. And hey, if it's successful, cool. If it's not, cool. Tried it out. So I think that's what
So you're talking about like American Idiot specifically, like that time where they really shifted away from being Green Day that was doing Dookie and Warning and whatever they were doing over to
American Idiot still had some hits though. Some of those I'm just like,
I wanted to hate that album. I really did. And then I was like, this is fucking clever writing though.
and that's what it is too, is like I love, that's probably why I even listen to some rap and stuff, is because I really like how silly they probably don't want to hear it, but I'm like, you're kind of silly. You're a silly goose. These are lyrics by a silly goose, okay? Did you know that? Because that's what it is.
I feel like nothing can make somebody feel less gangster than being called a silly goose. That's just my theory.
I have actually asked groups of rappers, are you a boy band? You know you're a boy band. And they like to fight me on it, and I'll be like, but like, so are you a bunch of guys? Are you a bunch of males? Bunch of boys? Yes. And you all make music together? Yes. And you all hop around the stage together? You are a boy band.
I mean, it always upsets punk rock fans when I explain to them the difference between punk and country music is just the melody. It's the same fucking content, except for like stadium country. But like, you go listen to, you know, Johnny Cash, it might as well be a punk rock song.
Yeah, because country's also very emo. It's very emo, and it's very like, we do what we want. Like, I don't know.
It's farm emo, right? Like, it's just farm emo. That's all it is.
Put them on a tractor, same thing.
Have you listened to any Zach Bryan, by the way?
Yes, but not on purpose. Like, it comes up on like Spotify and stuff.
12 out of 10. So I have 2 records behind me. One of them is 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, which I think may be the most perfect punk album ever made, just in terms of like just the right amount of production, but also just a great story all the way through. And the other one I have is Zach Bryan's American Heartbreak. And if you get a chance to listen to that, that is some of the best writing, best farm emo writing I've ever heard.
You know, I gotta say, I think that emo and like punk, anything that, because I put emo in like punk genre.
They're punk, yeah.
Yeah. Any kind of like punk hardcore, they have some, oh my god, this dog. They have some of the most like hardcore fans out there. And that's what keeps it alive. When you go to any music fan kind of thing, rap, wild shit happens. Country, god, people just slinging beers and shit like that. But if I go to a hardcore show, they're so about it. It is crazy. And so I think punk is going to be the thing that never dies. And everybody likes a punk.
I hadn't been to a show in a long time. And when we were young, it was so interesting to see like hardcore punk fans, and they're all super polite to each other. Like they bump into each other and you're not in the mosh pit. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Yeah. All right, cool. You're good. Hey, my friend's a little drunk. Let me get past you because he's got to throw up. I don't want him to throw up on you. All right, cool. No problem. Right. And you don't see that at other shows, right? Like you do that at a rap show. I feel like there's a good chance you could get like punched in the face probably, you know? So.
Oh, you gay? What you talking about? Like, no, I've heard those things. Or it's like, because we throw shows at the Mystery Shop, especially at the station in Oxnard, and a lot of them are hardcore shows, huge hardcore scene, such a tight knit community, and they really are like, first thing they always say is respect the spot. When they put out flyers and stuff, it's respect the spot. You know, we had our first hardcore show at the new location, and I don't get in pits. That is disgusting. Y'all are sweaty. You are gross. I don't want to be in there. And also, like, why do I want to get hit? Why am I purposely going to get in this circle of people acting wild like you belong in a zoo? What are you doing? You know, I don't know. It reminds me of Planet of the Apes when poor Caesar is first put in the monkey place, the gorilla place. You know what I'm talking about?
I've
And they all,
actually not watched Planet of the Apes. I guess that's my homework
well,
assignment.
spoiler alert, Caesar gets bullied. And that's just what I picture. I picture a bunch of fucking gorillas in the middle of the fucking thing. Or like you're just fighting invisible things. I don't know. But I am, again, the person who just does whatever I need to do at the mystery shop. I'm pretty much bad cop and I'm the bitch and I just, you know, like, that's why I'm there. I am the person who is like, this is a liability. Or I'm the person who's like, that's not safe. Or knock your shit off. Right? That's me. I'm bad news.
You are the bouncer for all intensive purposes.
Yeah, and yes. I have kicked people out, you know. But last band came on and everyone's all hype because it's the headliner and everything too. And, you know, like, these are hardcore kids. They're adults, but hardcore kids. Some kids. And I remember I had to get in because even though the pit, it's usually tight, so you could push people back in, you know, it's usually tight. They left one little section open that was just straight up a liability for like injuries, for damaging stuff, for possibly ending the show for a variety of reasons. And no one's fault really. So it's like, okay. So little old me goes over there and I'm like, all right, I understand this is the culture. But at the same time, I can't have people doing drop kick cartwheels over here. And I can't have people like, God, it looks like you're going to break your back or something on this because you're little too, like little people.
Right.
So then there I am stepping over there and like catching huge people and throwing them back in, right? Which was a lot of fucking work and was disgusting, but I did it. And I pulled a couple to the side and was just kind of yelling at them, like pointing in the area. So what do they end up doing? Covering the spot. Because they're like, oh shit, we get it. And then what do they do afterwards? They say, hey, sorry about that. It's like, no, don't be sorry. I totally get it. You're in the moment and you don't know. But they were slowly starting to cover the section because they just want to have a good time. And it's not a good time if someone's going to get hurt, like
Right.
badly. Or if something breaks and yeah, and they don't want some tiny lady yelling at them.
I'm just picturing you. Like, I've never met you, so I don't know how short you are, but I'm just picturing this very tiny person being like, get your shit together, stop it, knock it off, you know, in the middle of this hardcore show.
I'm like, I was just like, you can't fucking cartwheel over here. Do it over there. Or just like catching like mid drop kick and just like shoving them back in. And I'm just like, this sucks. It's cool because, you know, it's cool, but it's also like, no, this fucking sucks. This isn't why I'm here. And just somebody else pulling the sweaty people in front of me at that point when they're covering. I'm like, I guess this is better.
So out of curiosity, you know, because this is always like, music is really interesting for me. Have you ever seen High Fidelity with John Cusack?
Yeah, not in a while, but yeah.
You know, he talks about like organizing his records autobiographically, right? And I think that that's a really poignant thing. Most people's music that it attaches to them at a particular moment in their life where it means something. What are some of the songs that you have heard that are you just like, well, I'm broken for the rest of the day. I gotta just lay down and, you know, have like a good old cry about this. Like, what are some of those songs that you can remember?
I actually have on my Spotify what I call my safe space playlist,
Mm-hmm.
which is the playlist that I have for like my mental health, I would say. So anything that gives me emotions where even if it might like, okay, it's like it's me and my feels and stuff, but it's like something that helps bring me back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have like that playlist there. There's nothing that makes me want to. I am not a super emotional person. I'm not.
That's weird. I didn't pick that up on this.
Yeah. But I do have those times where it's just like I do feel like I need to recenter myself. So
What are some of the songs on that list?
So actually, I have, surprisingly, my dog just like touched my light, which was super weird. She's going everywhere. There's an Adele song on there that I just absolutely love, and I didn't even know I liked her music at all until I heard this one. Something about like parking spots or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Interesting.
There's a song by Japanese Breakfast called "Posing in Bondage"
Mhm.
that just like the best melody and everything to it. Gosh, there's this new song I really like too called "Vulnerability," and it samples. What does it sample? Does it sample Otis Redding? I can't remember right now. But there's a lot of songs that actually, now that I say that out loud, I'll pick out samples. I think things that are sampled and I remember from like my childhood that I hear. Because
And
like
that creates the space where it's okay for you to kind of be a little bit more emotional or
yeah,
recenter yourself.
like, yeah, it's like okay, especially like if I'm driving or I just need to chill, get that anxiety down or whatever.
Playlist making is such an art that I think that like people aren't really like I think a lot of people think, okay, and you can always tell the difference, right? Like somebody just throws a bunch of random songs on a playlist, you're like either you have really bad ADD or you don't understand that your playlist is actually communicating what you don't think it's communicating, right?
Yeah.
And I think that just creating I think I have like 700 playlists on Spotify now. Like it's a thing that I do at least 3 times a week and I'm always listening to new music
on
that way.
play, which is great.
Yeah, and you always have something to listen to, right? No matter your mood, you got something. And it was like I really focused early on like when we were talking about like emo music. Like it was My Chem and Fall Out Boy, right? Like I actually have a vinyl copy of Evening with Your Girlfriend in my other room because I love that record, right? And it's also like such a fuck you title from a bunch of nerds, which makes me happy. And if you've ever gotten a chance, by the way, to watch Drunk History with Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco, he tells the story about how Fall Out Boy got together, but he's so fucked up. He can't even talk. But I didn't know who Taking Back. I mean, I knew who Taking Back Sunday was, but I think the only thing I had ever heard from them was Make Damn Sure. And I discovered a song last year called 180 by Summer. And that shit fucked me up for like 4 weeks. I couldn't listen to other music. It really messed me up. And if you get a chance to listen to it, 12 out of 10. That is a song that will fuck you up.
Jeez. That's like Taking Back Sunday was one of the ones I always listened to back in the day.
And he's so talented. Like his voice is so crazy and their melodies are so crazy and their songwriting. Like I can't believe that I hadn't heard them before that. And I went back and listened to like every record, and every record they make is so different than every other record, which I really appreciate because you could just play it safe and do what Blink-182 did for years and just make the same record over and over again.
Their album art too was like interesting without being you were looking at it like, didn't they have the one where it was like if you were at a movie ticket thing and it's just like it's like basically like
Louder
a
now.
really
Yeah,
and then it's just it's so simple, and the one there's like a baby on it or like a toddler. They're so simple, fits their vibe, but you're like, this is aesthetically pleasing to look at. It makes me want to buy it. It's not like overdone. It's so good.
So there's a book that I just finished reading late last year because it came out late last year called "Where Is Your Boys Tonight?" The oral history of emo music. And if you get a chance if you haven't read it, it's all interviews with people. But I did not know how many of those people like lived together, especially in like New Jersey, Long Island area. Like Mikey Way lived in a same house as one of the singers for Say Anything, who also was part of another band, and they all knew like 4 or 5 other people, and then Adam Lazar from Taking Back Sunday would just come up and visit because that was the punk house where everyone hung out at, and they would do hardcore shows in the basement, right? And
Oh yeah.
it's a really, really cool book if you get a chance to read it.
Okay, I'm gonna add it to my list. My giant Goodreads list.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Like the one that never ends. All right. Well, we have had an amazing talk, despite the fact that I have not gotten another message back from Sanctus. He has not read the message that I sent. I was like, oh, I sent a message. I was like, now we're talking about OnlyFans because I really wanted him to get some FOMO. I'm sure by the time he gets to watch this, which will probably be later tonight, he's going to be really mad. But
good old Sanctus.
yeah, I mean, look, if you can't fuck with your friends, who can't you fuck with? But we're coming to the part of the podcast called Ask the Podcaster Anything. So you can ask me any question and I have to answer it. So ask the podcaster anything.
If you had an OnlyFans, what would be your thing? It could be weird. There's a lot of weird ones out there too.
Oh man. One, if I have an OnlyFans, I got to get in way better shape than I'm at now. I'm working on it, but it's like, I got on the scale the other day and it went, oof. I've got that post-wedding happiness weight going on. So I ballooned up a little bit. I would shirtlessly describe professional wrestling matches to people and the storylines behind it.
That is beautiful. That is fantastic.
People who I do not like, people tell me, like, I'll tell people, like, oh, I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. People are like, really? Like, you do know it's not real. I'm always like, you watch Star Wars, you know that shit isn't real too, right? And like, they're very confused by the fact that it's like, I know it's not real and I enjoy it. And like, my wife was not into professional wrestling when we first met. And then I had her watch WrestleMania and she's like, the costumes in this are incredible. The hair is amazing, you know?
It's the whole production. You know what? I had the wrestling game for PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm. Raw's War.
I want that again.
It's there's like a PlayStation like arcade device, I think, and I think that game might be on it because it's now in like the public domain. It's so old.
This makes me like want to go get that. Like just like the terrible. They look like Cybertrucks as people.
Yes.
You know?
They could be Transformers. They could be people. We don't know. But we do know it has Stone Cold Steve Austin on it. And that's what's important, right?
Yes. Stone Cold Day. 316. Yes.
I have an idea. And feel free to say no to this. I'm going to put you on the spot. But I think we should live stream WrestleMania next year. And we can get you, me, Sanctus, my wife together, and we can all just live stream this event. And if we want to, because I will actually be moving significantly closer to Ventura in the very near future, so we will be down that way. We could all just do it in the same place and have a no party, if you know what I mean. And I'll make sure there are tacos because I know that's the only way I'm getting you to come to anything. So,
Gotta be food. I say yes, and you know what? That's it. You should tell Sanctus, hey, I know you weren't a part of it. We got plans with you now. He didn't get a watch, but we're voting him in, so he's gonna be there.
So
just be like, yo, you know what? Sorry you couldn't see it, but I'm for sure gonna see you for WrestleMania.
Sorry you didn't make it. But
this is beautiful.
See you at WrestleMania.
Oh man.
Just to be clear, we absolutely have to get a beef going between me and Ventura Tide Pod because like I can cut a promo. Like I've been studying this for decades. This is my one thing I'm ready for. Like if someone was like, do you have a wrestling promo right now? I could make one up on the fly. Like, let me tell you something, brother. You know, like I'm ready for this. And I will take a chair shot for this gimmick, right? To sell this storyline. Like I could show up. You could hit me over the head with a chair. Like, just don't do it real hard because I don't want another, concussion thing. But like, I'll sell it like you clobbered me. Like, it's the worst thing ever. I can even get some friends of mine to like come arrest me. Like we can really sell it.
This is a beautiful, beautiful thing happening. So, just so many ideas. So many things.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Mina Azul, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on here today. Thank you for making time. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I got to definitely figure this out for the next couple of shows. I have a theory that I accidentally deleted the wrong one off YouTube, and that's why it's not actually streaming. But
it happens.
Where can people find you? Where can they find your OnlyFans? Where can they find your Instagram? And where can they find your Goodreads so that they can see what you're reading?
So everything is on my link tree, which is on my Instagram, which is Mina, MINA _Azul, AZUL _. And right on my bio is the link tree, and that's going to have my Goodreads. It's going to have my OnlyFans. I'm also on Playboy, so it's going to have my Playboy too. What else is on there? Everything. Everything's on there. So check that out.
Thank you again for coming on, and we're going to have you on again in the near future. I have a feeling like we're going to there's going to be follow-up questions from our audience base collectively about this conversation, and we need to continue, not bluing ourselves.
A little bluing here and there, though, it's fine, right?
Listen, we'll see you on Bob's Law Blog. Thank you again, Mina. You have a great night, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Everybody's watching, but nobody's watching out for me, for me, for me.